fucking truthers, all fucking wonky, strange, weird people. Ian Puddy, you're fucking weird. Bill Maloney, you're weird. John Wedger, you're fucking weird. Sean Atwood, you're fucking weird.
Brian Harvey's making videos. This guy's just effing Sean Atwood, effing John Wedger, effing Ian Puddy, effing Bill Maloney. When he started saying I was working for the New World Order, Brian Harvey's
fucking podcast.
Brian Harvey's
fucking podcast.
Brian Harvey's
fucking podcast. Fucking podcasters fucking talking shit.
And a very, very, very good morning to you. How's it going? Brian Harvey here for a, well, bit of background really on, you know, this stuff that I've been talking about for so long. It seems that it's coming to light again through Prince Harry. And I think this time I need to be included in this, well, wherever it goes. I mean, you know, if you look in the media, Prince Harry is talking about having his landline actually phone tapped. Now, this is probably, apart from me, the first that you've heard of phone tapping. And like I explained on the last video, there's a big difference between phone hacking and phone tapping. Now, so far, we've had civil trials with a compensation scheme set up for basically all of the victims of phone hacking have sued for libel in civil cases. There's been no, apart from in the beginning when they said, you know, they arrested Clive Goodman and Glenn Mulcair and all the rest of it. Well, they're only telling you half the story there. And these were the front men that they've clearly hung out to dry to take the brunt of it. The whole phone hacking scandal is a lot more complex than they're telling you, basically. And I explained in the last video the difference between hacking and tapping. When they talk about phone hacking, they're talking about the listening to of voicemail messages. Now, phone tapping is the live interception of your telephone call from your landline, from your mobile, whatever. Your private telephone conversation being intercepted by a third party, which is criminal. It is a breach of the Regulatory Investigatory Powers Act 2000. And there you go, that come into play in 2000. So said case of mine happens in 2002. And that is the same journalist and the same newspaper that done it to Millie Dowler. The same month and the following month. Because Millie was being monitored. Obviously, she went missing March 21st. April was my hacking on the 26th of April. Well, I would say before that. But what I've got the paperwork for is that I was being monitored for a few days before that. And it was the same people that done it to me and done it to Millie Dowler. And the head journalist on that sting operation, his name was Robert Kellaway. Now, I have showed you photos of this guy, and I will bring them up again because I have got a few files in front of me which I want to explain in a little bit more detail today, because I noticed that the last video they've put an age restriction on it, and obviously then people are less likely to watch the video if they're not signed in. If you're already signed in, then it's not a bother. But if you're not, and there's going to be about half of the viewers who are probably not signed in, and just go to that page on YouTube, like my video page, and you don't have to be signed in to watch them. But every now and then they put an age restriction on it, and on the last video that I'd done, I noticed there's an age restriction. So it's just another barricade to stop me from reaching everyone, basically. Now, there's a lot to cover today, but literally what I'm going to go with is what I've got on paper and what I can prove. Let's forget all about hearsay, and let's talk about my phone hacking case in a bit more detail, and the circumstances that were going on behind it at the time. So, yeah, let's start there. Okay, let's start there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move this document over here, and we are going to go to the other page, which is this. I'm going to bring up this document here. Now, let me just move that over. And so this here is me going to prison. And the reason that I went to prison was because I was going through a rough court battle with my now ex-wife at the time. And I wasn't being allowed to see my kid, and, everything that comes along with a couple that are not getting on anymore. And basically, I'd found lists of hers that she'd written out where literally she was planning a new life. And I found a list with everything you need to start a new life. And she was going to try and get it all out of me through taking the house and everything. So I had all this going on in the background. And obviously, so the mother normally gets the say-so with the child. And my daughter was being used as a weapon. I wasn't being allowed to see her. She wasn't letting my family see her. It was just... many young fathers out there have been through the same scenario. And then you got to go contact centre and everything because they make you out to be some sort of cunt, and you've got to go far and beyond to try and prove yourself. I mean, I was turning up at the contact centre on weekends that I weren't even supposed to be there because I was that worried about missing it, because I knew straight away that would be used against me. So it was an uphill struggle all the way. And so basically what happened was Natasha, my ex-wife, was playing the game. So she'll do the I'm going to call the police bit and everything. And then, of course, I'm left frustrated because I can't go anywhere near my own house that I'm paying for, that I'd worked for. And you've got to stay away from your own house. It's like, I couldn't get my head around that. But she was happy to drop that one. And then there's all people around my house and I can't go there. I mean, you've got to know how that feels. So, yeah, we was going through a bit of divorce. It's true. There's no, there's nothing to lie about there. And we went to the court, and I remember there was a court date where I just thought, you're taking the absolute piss out of me, yeah. Like, if I've got to get out my own house, I want my leather settee, I want a couple of bits. And the judge awarded them to me. And you'll see why this comes up later on. It's because it will tell you the time frame as well. So there was there was shit going on between me and the ex-wife, and the News of the World got involved. Now, what they tried to do was wind up Natasha because they knew the circumstances of the non-molestation order, which is put out to frustrate you so you can't go near your fucking ass, you can't do anything of your own. It's a complete piss take. And the News of the World, basically, with their story, which is what I'm showing you here, made it look as though I had breached a non-molestation order in the family court. Now, I've got the documents from the family court, and the judge that sent me away, the name's been redacted, and that's on my Freedom of Information package that I got from the CPS a little while ago. I've had 2 of them out of them. I just thought I will cross-reference bits that they've sent me against other bits and see if they fucked up. And they have fucked up a few times on there. I'm sure I've got stuff there that I'm not meant to have. So we're going through this divorce. The News of the World, for some reason, get involved and basically make me look like I've breached that injunction. So hence, I go to prison. And this is me being taken to prison here from the court, right? And this is me trying to shout out at the time. I've been set up, like no one's listening. Nikki was coming towards me at that point. She was at the court and she was walking over. She saw this firsthand as I'm being taken in. All the press was round the back and I was screaming out to them, I've been set up. And no one listened, you know what I mean? No one was going to listen because that was the plan all along. You know, they run everything, these people. The police, the media, everything. The judges, the solicitors, the lawyers. We're going to get to all of that in a minute. But this is me on my way to prison. Now, as it looks like I've instructed this Kamal Zulba to go and set up my wife. Right, now, I've explained the circumstances behind this, but let me just run over it for you briefly again. Right, now, back in 2002, April, which is when all of this takes place, right, I'm living in a like a barn conversion, right, in a place called Thaden Bois, or Thaden Bois, if you want to be posh about it. It's a nice little area, and it's just outside of Woodford and Buckhurst Hill, where I used to live. And I was in this barn conversion, and it was a Sunday, and it was middle of the afternoon, probably about 2 o'clock-ish, something like that. 2, 3, I don't think it was that, but it could be between 2 and 4, roughly about it. It was still daylight outside. I remember where the phone was positioned in the barn, over by the window on the right. And I remember one of my best mates ringing me, and his name was Reese, right? Reese Morris. And he rings me up from a place called the Fairways Pub, which is just down the road, down the A406, 5 minutes from where I live. And he's in there watching this Arsenal game. And he says to me, I've got this geezer here, right? And his name's Zulba. Yeah, he goes, I sort of know him. I used to play football with him, like, a few times, like years and years ago. Right, it comes from Chinkford, the next borough along. And I said, yeah, right. And he said, look, right, I know that you ain't been able to see Tegan. This geezer had an affair with Natasha, who's my ex-wife now. I said, right. Now, obviously, this is sometime prior to 2002. This is at around 1999 that Kamal Zulba, the people that the News of the World said I hired as a hitman to drug and sexually degrade my wife, had been seeing my wife since 1999. Right? Now, I'd got back with Natasha in 1999 because she moved into the flat with me. Right? So we sold the house and she moved into the flat with me. So I know the time frame, and that's when it was, 1999. So he's telling me, basically, that this guy has had an affair with Tash, and he was willing to give me a statement because he didn't think it was fair that I wasn't allowed to see my daughter. Now, obviously, first thing I'm thinking is, what do you mean, like, she had an affair? What, you knew about this? And he hadn't. So this is one of my best friends, and he'd not told me nothing about this, but just at this point, yeah, just at this point. So we're now talking April 2002. I'm in the barn conversion. I'm with Emma B at the time, and Reese rings me randomly from the Fairways pub and tells me that this geezer has approached him and that he has offered to do a statement. Now, first thing I'm thinking is, what? First of all, what? And you knew about this, and you ain't fucking said nothing. So next now, I want to know what the fuck's gone on. So I said, get me the geezer's number. I want to know what the fuck's gone on. And where was my daughter at the time? Because the story goes like this. Reese's girlfriend, my best mate, who was in this case with me, was close friends with my ex-wife Natasha at the time. And Reese was having a rocky period with Carly, and I was having a bad period with Tash. And Carly and Tash befriended each other and started going out with another group of girls. And they started going to Faces nightclub and Chan's and here and there. Now, obviously, I'm not there. The girls are going out, they're meeting up, and they're meeting up with this Kamal Zulba, who apparently is a drug dealer. Right? So I get to hear about this through Reese later on. And his girlfriend Carly done a statement for this very case, my case, because I'm trying to show you now that I've been set up. And Natasha, this geezer's been having an affair with her. So how can he be an anonymous random hitman that I've fucking hired? And the News of the World have printed this. They've printed and published it. If you look at this page here that I'm showing you, this week this judge here, claimed singer Brian Harvey didn't have a stain on his character. That's coming from the judge. Our hate-filled tapes prove him wrong, say the News of the World. He's guilty, and they've called me guilty. Right? Now, these are the people that have set me up in the first place just to call me guilty. A judge has basically said here, this judge has basically said in 2003 in the criminal trial, because the News of the World have said that I was in possession of a Class A controlled drug and that I've supplied it to Zulba to set my wife up. And this whole plan has come from me. Even though I'm over there getting on with my life, I get a random call from Reese. You know, what is going to wind you up more than telling you, you know, you're not allowed to see your daughter, and your best mate rings you up and says, oh, she was having an affair with this geezer. I'm meant to ring this bloke. I'm meant to go and fucking meet him. Do you know why? Because he's part of the News of the World's team, and I'm going to show you proof of that in a minute. Yeah, this ain't some random geezer. This was a well thought out plan. They were coming for me, and they knew that I was going through not a custody battle, because I believe that kids should grow up with their mum. That's the normal, natural thing to do. But we was just going through a bad divorce, and she wasn't letting me see my daughter. So, where am I? So, yeah, she'd been having an affair with this guy that the newspapers later, the News of the World, said I've hired him as a hitman. Now, that is a fucking big allegation. A fucking hitman, you know. They soon got rid of these stories, though, because you wouldn't be able to find them no more if you looked online. But I've got them because they're part of my bundle. Now, this judge has said I leave the court without a stain on my character. This judge also said this, if I can show you. So, let's go here a second. And so if you're watching Prince Harry, you need to see this, right? So, this is the Independent newspaper, and this is Saturday the 14th of June. Notice they had me in court the day before. This is the criminal trial for supplying and having possession of cocaine, they allege, right? News of the World. This is the criminal trial for that. Yeah, basically what they did was the page that I showed you a minute ago where it said guilty, right? That is what they've printed when I've just got not guilty. So, I mean, that's wrong for a start. You can't fucking do that. You cannot do that. So, here's what the judges had to say on Saturday. My case was on Friday the 13th of June. But this is the next day. Judges hit out at tabloid stings. Two judges strongly criticised the methods of the News of the World yesterday after the collapse of a drugs trial involving the pop singer Brian Harvey and the jailing of a fantasist who claimed she was raped by Neil and Christine Hamilton. Do you all remember that? Remember that story? Charges against Mr. Harvey were dropped after the prosecution said the main witness, this is Kamal Zulba, who had been paid £15,000 by the News of the World to set me up, had disappeared. He's been paid 15 grand and he's disappeared. Judge Gareth Hawksworth, that's the judge in the picture, He has got a bit of a seedy background, but at the end of the day, he done the right thing in this case, and that's all I give a fuck about here at the minute. Gareth Hawksworth told Mr. Harvey, "You leave this court without a stain on your character. May this be a salutary lesson to the proprietors of that newspaper." This is coming from the judge. So we go further down, and it says, at Chelmsford Crown Court yesterday, Mr. Harvey's lawyer, Stephen Ferguson, this is the guy that turned up when Mallet weren't there, Richard Mallet, said the former E17 singer had been arrested solely because of an article in the News of the World. Now, the News of the World were tapping all of our phones, and they knew that I was in a bit of a court battle with Natasha, and somehow they knew, fuck knows how, because that's a family court, that there was an injunction, and that if I breached that injunction, I would go to prison. So the News of the World get busy and go to work and set me up. So Mr. Harvey had charges of possessing and supplying cocaine dropped after the prosecution offered no evidence. The court was told that the main witness, Kamal Zulba, was refusing to attend to give evidence and had gone abroad with the money. Well, he did have it wired to Florida, which was a bit strange. He got paid in 5 instalments, up to £15,000. But from what I can see paid out to him, I can only account for £10,000. Where did the other £5,000 go? Did it go to Reese? My best friend set me up. That would explain why he didn't fucking come and talk to me for 5 years. And then when I say, do you remember that Zulba and everything? Oh, I can't remember now. Well, guess what? He's dead now. My mate is dead now. And I believe they've killed him because he was going to crack. Because he was in this case with me. So let me get to the important bit. Mr. Harvey had charges of possessing and supplying cocaine dropped after the prosecution offered no evidence. The court was told that the main witness, Kamal Zulba, was refusing to attend to give evidence and had gone abroad with the money. Right, let me just get to the next bit. Right. At Chelmsford Crown Court yesterday, you got to remember this is 2003. Mr. Harvey's lawyer, Stephen Ferguson, said the former E17 singer had been arrested solely because of an article in the News of the World. And I'm going to prove that to you later as well. And said the Crown Prosecution Service should conduct a root and branch investigation. Let me repeat that. The judge has said that the Crown Prosecution Service, the CPS, should conduct a root and branch investigation into how the case had come to court. How did the case come to court? The judge knew that I'd been phone tapped. He could see from the evidence, like what I've shown you, like what I'm trying to show Prince Harry. I mean, I know Prince Harry knows he's been phone tapped, but I can corroborate that. I can completely corroborate that. So the judge in the family, the judge in the case, in the criminal case, has instructed the Crown Prosecution Service to conduct a root and branch investigation into how the case came to court. So the judge knew that this should never have come to court in the first place. So they throw the case out. I remember Mallet coming back to me saying, the police have lost their drugs. What do you mean? What are you talking about? I've got no fingerprints on this alleged rap, which they've got, and it keeps changing weight and size. I'll show you evidence of it. 1 minute it's weighing 289 milligrams. The next minute it's weighing 389 milligrams. Then it weighs 0.69 milligrams. and then we've got half a wrap of cocaine, and we've got 3, possibly 4 different coloured packets, and there was no chain of continuity or custody which met the so-called requirements. So I give Zorba cash and a camera. Somehow he comes up with a wrap, and that wrap changes weight and changes colour, is not given to police for over a month later. I repeat that. The police do not come into contact with any cocaine until over a month later. Although Robert Kellaway immediately takes the camera and the cash to the police. Now, why on earth wouldn't you take cocaine to the police if I've given you cocaine? Why wouldn't you do that? Why would you go to your own cocaine dealer, a Dr. Jack Chuddy, who was part of Eclipse Scientific Group and run a company called Volker Science? Well, Volker Science and Dr. Jack Chuddy held a government license to handle and control Class A substances. So the fact that the police weren't there to arrest me on the spot, and the News of the World run away to Dr. Jack Chuddy, who, he's one of these people that are on side with the police, and they'll say, "I'll test that for us," and it will come up, positive for the police all the time. He's one of them people, and he was obviously corrupt because his company doesn't exist anymore, and he's now hiding at something called the Food Club, and he tests our food, what we eat. He's part of that now. Dr. Jack Chuddy, Volker Science, the News of the World's drug lab. Now, if you got cocaine from me, why would you go to your own drug lab, and why would you not go straight to the police with everything you got? Why wouldn't you do that? Because it's not true. That's why. And they needed time. Actually, they needed a month. So the police go to Dr. Jack Chuddy at Volker Science over a month later. And Dr. Jack Chuddy gives a DC Childs a rap. Now, DC Childs changes his police witness statement. He realises he fucked up a year later and amends his police witness statement and changes what Dr. Jack Chuddy gave him over a month later, was not placed into a sealed and numbered police drug bag. And they have changed, I gave him a single wrap of white paper to, he's not named the colour of the wrap now because he knows he's fucked up. It's changed. It's already changed. Right? It's gone from a magazine wrap now, they're saying, and now it's a white wrap. So, what's that? Chuddy, what's that? So this DC Childs goes and picks it up. Don't place it into a sealed bag, sign it and number it. Then they take it back to the police station, and then the police, they go to a police lab. So what was the point of Dr. Jack Chuddy if you weren't just going there to get some gear from him to stitch me up with? Because I know for a fact I didn't give you cocaine. For a fact. And you know it too. Otherwise, if I did, you'd have produced it in this court case, wouldn't you? And your witness would be backing you up, and you wouldn't have had to pay him 15 grand to come and set me up. Because this guy worked for the News of the World anyway. This so-called Kamal Zorba, police witness against me, the bloke I've hired. Yeah, I've hired him. With what money? What money have I hired him with? Yeah, you was looking at my bank details, my medical details. Where's the money then? Go on, show me money. Show me money I'm hiding. Show me. You were the ones hacking me. You've looked at all everything to do with me. You know there's fuck all there. Nothing. Root and branch investigation. That's what the judge said in 2003, Friday the 13th of June, right? When they threw my case out. CPS should conduct a root and branch investigation. Did they conduct one? No, they didn't. So, my solicitor of the time, Richard Mallett. Oh dear. Richard Mallett, solicitor, control of practice, 17th of August 2020. Prosecution of Richard Mallett, who represented me in that case I just showed you, 2003, when the News of the World stitched me up. He represented me, the case got thrown out. Richard Mallett knew I was phone tapped. I'll show you evidence of that in a minute. Now, Richard Mallett, who represented me back then, who done a good job back then, I've got to say. He did. But once they threw the case out, Richard was supposed to do a defamation case against the News of the World on my behalf. And he never did. It was also supposed to follow up my Criminal Injuries Compensation Authority claim for the machete attack, which he never did. So the next that I see of Richard Mallett, after that, the case getting thrown out, he rings me in 2012. 24th of April 2012. Right? That's when this geezer comes back into my life. So he rings me and he says, I don't know if you know about the hacking and that. He goes, oh, you got a very good case here. This is a slam dunk case. This is worth millions. There's some big figures being thrown about. I'm blown away at this point. I'm like, fucking hell, really? So what you got to know about Richard Mallett at this point is when he didn't put my defamation claim in 2003 for me, which he should have done, the News of the World offered Richard Mallett work not to sue him. And he took that work. And that is why, while Richard Mallett was representing me, at least from 2013 onwards, he's representing this man, Duncan Larkham. There he is with Prince Harry. Watch yourself, Prince Harry, yeah? Because all of these people are connected, right? And I'm going to show you something about your barrister in a minute as well, because he's involved as well. I'm sorry, but it has to be said. Now, Richard Mallett, my solicitor, in 2013 and 2014, for fact, was representing Duncan Larkham. Now, Duncan Larkham, as you can see, I'll tell you what he is, says it more about him here. Duncan Larkham is an award-winning British journalist and commentator who spent more than 10 years working as royal editor for the Sun newspaper in London. Right, he's done a book on Prince Harry there, right? So there's obviously some form of relationship there. Like I said, the royals have got a relationship with the media. Now, Duncan Larkham is a News International PLC employee. He works for the Sun. News International PLC own the Sun. They own the News of the World. They own all the other stuff, right? So, Duncan Larkham, Sun's royal editor. So, if we go to okay, right. So, where was we there? Where was we? Richard Mallett. What was I going to show you there? What was I going to show you? Let me just get my thoughts back. Oh yes. Sorry, here it is. Right. So this is in The Guardian. and Sun Royal Editor to be charged over alleged payments to soldier. Duncan Larkham accused of paying sergeant at Sandhurst Military Academy for stories related to the royal family. Duncan Larkham accused of paying sergeant at Sandhurst Military Academy for stories related to the royal family. Duncan Larkham, Sun's Royal Editor. Now, Sun's Royal Editor is accused of paying a sergeant at Sandhurst Military Academy for stories about the royal family. Sun's Royal Editor Duncan Larkham has been charged over allegations he paid £23,000 to an army sergeant and his wife. Larkham is accused of making 34 payments to the sergeant, John Hardy, and his wife Claire Hardy. Now, Richard Mallet had a Hardy working for him at Mallet Solicitors in Wisbeach. I saw some paperwork on his table in late 2002. There was a Hardy working at Mallet's Solicitors. Now, the prosecution, the CPS prosecutor in 2003, who was acting against me in the case that got thrown out, his name was Hardy. And I'm just wondering, is there any connection between these Hardys, the prosecutor against me in the CPS in 2002, Hardy? Is there any connection here? And the Hardy that worked at Richard Mallet Solicitors in 2002. Now, did Richard Mallet have the brother of the CPS prosecutor working for him? Maybe. So anyway, why am I talking about Richard Mallet when we're talking about, Richard Mallet's my solicitor, isn't he? Yeah, you all know that. He was my solicitor. He's filed my phone hacking claim. You know Richard Mallet. But why am I talking about Richard Mallet? I thought you were talking about Duncan Larkham, Brian, the Sun's Royal Editor. Well, I am. And this is from 2014, this story. And you remember Richard Mallet was representing me then, wasn't he? Yeah, so if we just go down here a little bit further. Larkham's solicitor, Richard Mallet, said that his client denies any wrongdoing. Mallet said Mr. Larkham categorically denies any wrongdoing and is entirely confident that the matter will be resolved and he will be exonerated in full. Larkham's solicitor, Richard Mallet, my solicitor, Richard Mallet, who in November 2012 filed my phone hacking claim, knowing that I was mentally ill, and did know from 2002, and I'll prove that in a minute. Well, I'm exempt from the costs in that case, but he went ahead anyway and filed my claim after liaising with Prince Harry's barrister, David Sherborne. Yeah, he went and filed my claim for a payout of no more than £50,000, knowing that I was only going to get 25 of that, after he's told me that this is a slam dunk case and it's millions, and that they've forgotten about the micro cassette that was recorded of you, that is mentioned in Robert Kellaway's police witness statement. That's what he said to me. So Richard Mallet, who beat the News of the World, or basically got the CPS to throw the case out. So that's beating the News of the World when they're trying to put you in prison. He beat the News of the World for me in 2003. Then I can't get hold of him no more, right? Because he's supposed to sue the News of the World for me, right? Because of what happened. He didn't. He ran off, and I never heard from him again until the 24th of the 4th, 2012. So 9 years later, this geezer appears, pretending to be my friend, telling me it's a slam dunk case and that this is millions, and do I want him to do it for me? So that day, I give him the authority to go into Scotland Yard to ascertain whether I've been the victim of telephone hacking. Right? Now, he knew I had been because he dealt with the case in 2003. Right? So let's just go over here a minute and I will show you. This is what Mallet wrote in summing up. Let me just get rid of that for a second. This is what Mallet said. 2002. How did the News of the World find this stuff out? Illegally obtained telephone numbers, bank details, medical details. News of the World won't want to disclose how they obtained this information. This is Mallet, right, in 2002. The News of the World won't want to disclose how they obtained this information. Word on the street is that the News of the World are worried they know they set BH up. How did they record this? Illegally? Done it before? What source? Does this amount to phone tapping? What is the difference? Rebecca Wade, the editor, now Rebecca Brooks, the gingerbird, from the News of the World. Editor. Rebecca Wade, editor, News of the World. This is what she said in 2002. Does not want to be called to court, apparently very unhappy about the way the case has been handled. Now, if she's Rebecca Wade and she's the news editor, she's going to know every single thing about my case, isn't she? Every single little detail. So, do you think she knew I was phone tapped? Well, she doesn't want to be called to court. She's very unhappy about the way the case has been handled. Because their case got thrown out, didn't it? Because you set me up. You phone tapped me. You tried to make me out to be a drug dealer. You say I hired a hitman. You set me up. Mallet knew. The judge in the case knew. He wanted a root and branch investigation. How is this case even in this courtroom? You leave this court without a stain on your character. And no one has done nothing. In 2003, if that root and branch investigation had been done, Harry, Prince Harry, you wouldn't have been phone tapped. Because I would have started the phone hacking inquiry in 2003. And that is why you all kept me out of it. Tried to palm me off with a silly little bit of chump change when you told me millions, Mallet. And this was the news editor who called the job on. My job, my sting operation. This man here, Greg Miskill, news editor. This is the man that calls Robert Kellaway and Comrade Brown, who's the fake Shakes partner, so he was there as well. He calls the job on and sends them all to Chinkford to do me. This man here. So let's just listen to what a little clip of what he says, right?
Before and
right. Now listen to this. Out of Glenn, he's been in my house and admitted it. Right. Listen. In 2002, I was trying to see my kid, and yous lot got involved and set me up. Sided with Natasha. She's been paid. Right now. I know that Surrey old Bill, right, who gave Neville Fellbeck Millie Dahler's number, Surrey old Bill around the corner from my ex-wife and their family, Reg Carnegie, who's a Freemason, right, and he kept in the background on that. Now, Surrey old Bill gave Fellbeck Millie's number on the day she went missing. I've had that out of Glenn. He's been in my house and admitted it.
No, Brian, they didn't.
Well, why is he saying that then, if that's not true? Because it goes against the official story that they've put out and makes everyone look like a liar, Greg.
It's not. Listen, I mean, I know the far end of a fart about Millie Dowler, and I know exactly what happened, and I know exactly how the information was gleaned and I know the workings of what happened after her, well, before and during and after her phone was tapped. It had nothing to do with Surrey police.
Right. So she was phone tapped, and that has never come out. And that has never come out, Greg. And the other thing is, she's done, or the official story of Glenn getting her number on the 10th. That's the 10th of April, right? That's like a couple of weeks just before my sting. Now the problem that Kellaway's got is he tells the inquiry that he knew nothing of phone hacking or Millie Dowler's voicemails being accessed. Yet, in I come walking with his police witness statement that Richard Mallett wasn't going to give to me when he knew that I didn't have the paperwork still from 2002 with our case. He wasn't going to give it to me, and lo and behold, he's working with Duncan Larkham at that time. So no wonder he wasn't going to send it, because he came in to me on a clean-up for you lot. I caught him out, and he's abandoned me in the claims, right? Just this man is trying to walk me down a path and say, oh, so you've got rid of Mr. Mallett. No, he's abandoned me because he was hiding Kellaway's statement. His T-boy sent it to me by mistake, and then the shit hit the fan. And then your lot continue to watch me again, because I've had Ian Cutler round here telling me that Stuart Cutler, John Listeners...
Oh, God.
Right?
Ian Cutler.
Well,
Ian Cutler is a fantasist. He's a fantasist.
But why would he make them things up? He clearly worked there.
Well, I'm just explaining it to you.
What, are you denying that he's ever worked there?
Of course he worked here.
Right. Well, there you go then. So, but how can you can't disprove it? Listen, he seems like a lovely geezer to me.
Yeah. Well, I started working at the News of the World in 1987.
Yeah.
Right. He's long gone.
Yeah, I know. He was a 70s and 80s man, wasn't he?
Yeah.
What about Roger Simpson?
You know, what the fuck does he know about what was going on at the News of the World? I swear to God, although I heard the name very occasionally,
Yeah.
because he was described as being some sort of like bit of a loony.
What, Roger?
I heard that. No.
Ian.
Cutler.
Ian Cutler.
Yeah, Ian Cutler was described as a bit of a well, I don't want to do it down, but a bit of a.
By who though? By Murdoch, because he said he was going to do a book on him.
By everybody. I mean, he was useful on certain jobs. He did undercover jobs, but he knew fuck all about fuck all. And certainly, he left years and years, decades.
Yeah, I know it was a long time ago.
Decades.
I know it was a long time ago.
Listening to people's voicemails was a twinkle in somebody's eye.
Yeah.
So what he knows about this is just.
Well, he's only saying from his point of view, innit? Because I have said to him, I've said, look, Ian, like, don't make nothing up here, because if you're telling the truth, you don't fucking need to, But he wants to finish him. He really does. I mean, he's really got it in for the whole News UK thing over there. He just wants to go for Murdoch. He's not bothered about none of the in-between people. He wants to go for Murdoch because, after he tells Murdoch he's going to do a book, a week later, 2 weeks later, he's beat up by the old Bill. And now I know that Murdoch is in control of them old Bill, especially Scotland Yard, because they half blanked out my number on the Molecare notes. Yet Glenn comes round here, and I decoded them by then. But then he gives me the pages that I've decoded. Now, listen, one thing I need to bring up, right, and that is page 59. I know there's loads of pages on me, Greg, right, but page 59, the page that Natasha was paid on, Robert Kellaway leaves a message on my voicemail. He's finished. He's finished. He's finished, absolutely. And the fact that Scotland Yard haven't given me that, and Glenn hasn't given me that, confirms to me that they're both, along with Richard Mallett, protecting Robert Kellaway. Now, Robert Kellaway's not really the main one. The problem is the link to Mazza, which is Comrade Brown, who records me, whose illegal recordings Kellaway transcribes and sends to DS Werrett at Loughton Police. And the day that he transcribes is Thursday, the cut-off point, the 2nd of the 5th, 02. And that is on top of page 60 of Glenn Mulcair's notes. Now, I was never supposed to match them two things, which is why Richard Mallet was sent in to me to do the job. Nice me up. This is a slam dunk case. This is millions. There's some big figures being thrown about, Brian. OK, Richard, get it done. All Richard wanted was me to give him the authority to go to Scotland Yard. Now he's got the Mulcair notes legally in his possession. Now he knows what not to send me, and he fucking didn't send it to me. I went through the Ombudsman and also got the paperwork from the court where we had the criminal trial.
Right.
And Mallet has held back everything. Abuse of process argument. Yeah, he sent the statements of everyone. But there's so much that he missed out, and it's a good job I got a second bundle from the court, because when I got that bundle, printed on, because they print on both sides, I suppose they're trying to fucking save paper, but on the other side, lo and behold, Kellaway's leaving me a message. Do you know what I mean? That geezer's he's fucked, mate, because he's lied. He said that his byline was on Millie's story as a professional favour and that he knew nothing of phone hacking. Well, then in I come walking with his police witness statement, which leads me also into Comrade, which then, Comrade, is leading me into Mazza. Now, there was 4 different wraps of gear here. I never gave anyone cocaine, Greg, and I think you know that, mate. I admitted I gave the geezer money, right, and I gave him that camera, right, because he was moaning about it. It was his idea. He bought the whole idea about. I went to meet that Zorba geezer because he told my mate Reese he wanted to give me a statement. Fuck knows why. But I'm going to meet him if you're going to give me a statement, because I'm getting a hiding in the fucking court here. Right? Everyone's ganging up against me, so obviously, yeah, I wouldn't have met the geezer. I never gave him cocaine, though. But why was there 4 different raps come up and then the police lose it within my case? I'll tell you, there's a 0.69 gram. There's the police, in an email to the police, is half a gram. There's 289 milligrams, and there's 389 milligrams. I've got Dr. Jack Chuddy from Volker Science's police witness statement. I've got the lot. Greg, man. I've got the lot. And I'll tell you, I'm going to rip these lot a new fucking arsehole for what they've done to me.
It doesn't.
Well, disprove everything I'm saying then.
I'm not.
Because they've destroyed all their stuff, and I know I'm sitting here with it. So what do we do? What, am I a liar then, Greg? Should I just fuck off into the darkness and everything? I'm not being treated like that, Greg. I'll come for everyone, mate. I promise you, I will put together a private criminal prosecution. I fucking will, and I'll put everyone in that thing. I'm not being treated like this. I ain't done nothing wrong to you.
No, I know you haven't, and what I'm trying to do is trying to point you in the right direction. But when you say things like Mazza colluded with
Well, he did.
I
know, look, Greg, me and you both know that I know they want to steer away from it, Greg, and I promise you I'll go full force on that point if they keep fucking with me, because...
Well, then, if you do, you're wasting your energy, I'm telling you now.
Why am I... Well, I've gone this far, do you know what I mean? I can go again for another 5 years. I mean, I've got other hurdles to get over first as well. This silly Ian Puddick cunt, he's another Murdoch man. I mean, fancy walking me in to a fake Operation Fernbridge interview that I can film. You got Kellaway sitting in the background, right? You got Ben Fellows, which was the first job that Bill Maloney walked me into. Who's he accusing? Kenneth Clark. Who's Kenneth Clark's right-hand man? Lord Grabiner. Lord Grabiner's instructing Linklaters against me for Murdoch. Everything goes back to Murdoch, mate. I'm clocking it and I see it. And why they think that they can pretend that I don't know what I'm seeing, all it's doing is winding me up, Greg. It's just winding me up. Just tell them to level with me, pay me, and I'll fuck off. Because I've had enough. But I will carry on to prove my point. But if I have to carry on, it's not going to be on a money basis, because I already told Christine on her show, I'll waiver that money, and I'll watch everyone go to prison, and I'll turn up at Downing Street every Christmas Eve, every single year, from now on, every single year, I'll change the lyrics to that song and I'll stand outside Downing Street and I'll get as big a crowd as I can get and tell everyone every single year until someone listens to me. Well, I promise you, Greg, because
I hear what you...
this is me, mate. This is me, and I'm sticking up for my life. And when people are going to stop fucking with my life, give me what they owe me, and it'll all go away. But if they're going to keep ignoring me and winding me up more, mate, and trust me, they've been doing this to an ill man as well, and I can prove since 1997 when you lot printed it first until today, 21 years.
Well, I think that you've created a...
No, I've not created nothing. Don't tell me I've created anything, Greg. Come on, man. Greg, you called the job on, for fuck's sake.
You have created... Look, I'm trying to be helpful.
It's not helpful, because you called the job on and you're telling me I'm creating shit. You were the ones that created it.
No.
No, what do you mean, no? Did you... All right, then. Did you or did you not send Kelly out to Chinkford?
Oh, yeah.
Right. Did you or did you not send Conrad Brown to Chinkford? Well, it's on paper. It's on paper anyway. You did. Well, it's on paper you did because you was news editor at the time. So, right, let me ask you one question. Who was instructing you to do it to me? Because this will just get you off the hook then, yeah? Because you're not really going to help me. Who done it? Who's instructed you? Was it Brooks?
No.
Yeah, it was. Because she didn't want to be called to court, because I know she knew about it. I've got a quote from her. Rebecca Wade, as she was known back then, apparently very unhappy about the way the case was handled. What part of the case did she think was handled badly? Because I've got a quote from her. It was the tap-in. Greg, it was the tap-in. Right? No one's admitted the tap-in. You've admitted the tap-in, but they haven't admitted the tap-in. But you've admitted the tap-in, and you was the news editor. So you're important. You're the one that makes it corporate.
I can tell you now that Rebecca Wade had nothing to do with that story, other than at the time she was the editor and printed it. That's it.
What? But she what? So she right? So was it Coulson? It was Coulson. It must have been because he's on the email with Tom Crone and Neil Wallace. Come on, man. All of these people knew I was tapped, and the way that I can prove that I was tapped is that it's publicised on the 5th of May. And it's on that email to Tom Crone that's got Andy Coulson on it. So therefore, those lines, right, that we got transcripts for, that you never gave us the audio tapes for, that we was asking for in disclosure, right, it's all very well giving us compilations. We wanted the full thing. And then if we'd have got the full thing, what would we have found on that tape? Would we have found Millie Dowler? Would we have found information to do with Millie Dowler? Because it was the same month, and Glenn Mulcair's notes were not in chronological order, and I've got page 59 missing, though I've got 58 and 60. Even Glenn himself said there was 5, right? So there's 3 pages missing for a start. Look, we know what's gone on. I'm going to have no problem proving it.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't think... I mean, if there's a way in which I could help you, I would. There isn't. I'm sorry, but...
Listen, I think you've already helped me. Even with a quote, that's why I put you on the front of that video, Greg, because the quote that you said there, we would never run a story based on a piece of information from a voicemail. Exactly. So I was phone tapped, and you know I was phone tapped.
We wouldn't.
What, are you now saying you didn't phone tap me?
I didn't say that.
Right, so let me ask you the question straight. Let me ask you the question straight. Let me ask you the question straight, Greg. Did you phone tap me?
I don't remember whether we did or we didn't, to be honest with you.
All right.
I really can't remember.
All right. Come on, Greg, man. Greg, come on, man. You know.
Brian, you've got to understand something, right? Yeah. This was a big thing for you, and I can understand why you're pursuing it.
Mate, they fucked my life up, mate, so yeah, that's why.
In your life, you know what you think is every single intimate detail of what happened. You
won't, yeah, I know, I get you, I do get you.
Hundreds of stories. Hundreds of stories. You know, some big, some not so big. I dealt with hundreds of them. And I don't remember the minutiae of remember. But the minutiae, the little itty-bitty things...
All right. I'll just... All right. No, I'll get you. All right, let's just go by what's on black and white then, what we've all seen. How have I got transcripts of private telephone conversations?
I don't know.
Well, you called the job on. You must know. It's very convenient for you to keep saying you don't know and not put your name to anything, but it's all on paper, Greg. I'm just trying to get this thing sorted out so I can move on, because I feel like I'm going round in circles again now.
Listen, I don't know. I'd be lying to you if I told you that I did know. I don't.
I was phone tapped. Rebecca Brooks knew about it. Rebecca Brooks knows what she thought was handled badly. That's why she didn't want to come to court. What do you remember from my case? Just all right. Let's just go with that. Just tell me off the top of your head, what you do remember, please. Please, mate. Please. Right, Greg, I'm not, seriously, mate, I'm not trying to go for you, I'm not trying to stitch you up, let me get to the truth, let me sort it out, let them pay me, and I'll fuck off. But they're not leaving me on benefits. I sold 22 million records, I was going to America, and because these people decided to set me up, my life's got to stop, and I've got to go to prison over something that I didn't fucking do when I was trying to see my baby. Do you understand where I'm coming from, Greg? Right, that's where I'm coming from. Now, I'm not trying to be a problem to you. I'm trying to get to who the fuck is targeting me. Because when I do fucking get them, God help them, mate. Fucking God help them. I was trying to see my kid. Right? I was being fucked over left, right and centre. Now, Greg, I'm asking you, please.
I remember very, very little. I remember Rob Calloway was involved. And to be honest with you, I don't remember Conrad being involved.
Well, he was. I've got his police witness statement, so you've only got to read it.
It wouldn't surprise me if he was involved. It wouldn't surprise me if Maher wasn't involved in some way. What I'm saying is that Glenn Mulcair may, if there's something on paper that with your name on it, and he's got a top left.
Yeah, top left. Yeah.
Whose name is there?
Neville.
Neville.
Yeah, Neville, 2nd of the 5th, 02. And that's the same day that Kellaway transcribes and sends his recordings to DS Werrett on email.
Right, so it was Neville who contacted Mulcair.
Yeah.
Then, so are these the pages 58?
58 and 60,
and 59
yeah.
is missing.
I never got 59. But Tasha's been paid on one of the pages or more. So obviously what they've done is they've paid her on that evidence, and then they've tried, and which is what's come from Scotland Yard again, because Hugh Giles there wouldn't send me page 59, and I said, look, we were still married at the time. My right to private and family life covers that, and I've got a right to see that document, and they never let me see it. And I was in full right to see it, so it's another downside for Scotland Yard.
Mulcair, as you can see from his notes, is very incredibly sloppy the way he writes things up.
Yeah.
For all I know, and I'm not saying this is the case, but what I am saying is a possibility that 58 was you, and 60 was you, and 59 was somebody else.
So what page was Natasha paid on then? Because I should have been able to see that.
Paid on?
Yeah, she got paid. She got paid. I've never been paid. They've never paid me anything. And Jesse Wallace is on my page as well. I mean, if Jesse Wallace is on there, yeah, Smart Lane, there's an address for her, Smart Lane on there, right? And if the police were genuine in what they were saying, Greg, they half blank out my numbers, right? But they leave Jesse Wallace's details open on there. It doesn't make any sense, right? If that was genuine what they were saying, but it's not genuine. You know, and the fact that they're blanking out, why would they blank out a number?
Oh, they do that. They redact numbers.
Yeah, I know, but that's out of order because they've fucked themselves. Because
I've received.
I said to DSL, well, why did you blank out the number? Well, we probably didn't attribute it to you. Well, why'd you fucking send it to me then? And he's all stuttering all over it. Look, I know what they've done, Greg. No one's ever going to convince me otherwise. It doesn't.
Trying to protect somebody's privacy. That's what they're doing.
But they haven't. Because it was my number that they blanked out, and I've said to them, "Why have you blanked out my number?" Let me tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because Richard Mallett.
They
Because Richard Mallett would knows them there at Scotland Yard, because that's who they liaised for. And Richard Mallett's gone to them. Listen, I doubt he'll even remember that number now. Brian's had quite a few bad years behind him. You know, it's not been that great. So I doubt he'll even remember the number. So leave half of it on there so it looks like we're playing fair.
Just for a second.
They are all in on it.
Yeah, listen, Brian. See, what the police decide to do is those documents don't just go to you. They didn't redact it just because of you. Those documents will have gone to a whole stack of people, right? Various people who are involved in the prosecution and the defence. So they don't want, so they didn't redact it for you. They redacted it for everybody.
There was. Greg, it's so bloody obvious, mate. And when people say that there ain't, it's ridiculous. There's a massive cover-up gone on here, massive. I mean, Rebecca Brooks destroying that evidence. I mean, that's perverting the course of justice straight away. But no, not guilty. Look, we know she was never going down because she's fucking Murdoch's fucking bird.
I'm not sure.
Why have her address on there then, on my page? Why is that on there? Why is that not redacted if that's a page that's coming to me? See, it doesn't make any sense.
I can't.
You can't speak for the police, I know, but I will.
Why her address is there and your number was partially redacted. I don't know what's going through their heads.
That's what I'm saying. No, if anything, I'm cluing you up with it because this is what I'm seeing firsthand, Greg. Which it only points in one direction. Look, we know what's happened. I don't give a fuck, right, about all the rest of it because I've already tried to go and do something good for this country and got a caning for it, trying to fight these fucking child abuse cunts, right? So, and I've seen the backlash on that. People don't give a fuck. They're not ready to move. They're not ready to do the right thing. So fuck everyone else. What are we going to do about my thing? Because Hacked Off are right up in the middle of this as well. And the fact that they're paying you and Glenn, and then they're talking to real victims that are actually real victims that are being made to feel here like, hang on a minute, maybe we're in the wrong. No, fuck that. I got plastered all over that newspaper so that cunt that owns that paper can make money off my fucking back. Right? And I was depressed. I was fucking ill. Right? Which I still am. Right? To this very day. Because of this geezer. Because of what he done to my life. Kellaway even said himself he's doing much better these days. Well, not anymore, thanks to you, mate. Right, so fuck everyone else. What are we going to do about my situation? Because I ain't going away. There's the bottom line. What can we do about it? What can we do? I personally don't want to start having to go and drag you through the court. I don't want to. You worked at a paper.
You're welcome to do it. It's not something that I concern myself with.
Well, look. Listen. It's not a threat. It's not a threat. I know. Listen, let me finish, right? It's not a threat. It's not a threat. It's something that I've got to do. But your information has been very helpful because.
Fine. Well, if it's been helpful, then good.
No, it has, and thank you for that, by the way, and thank you for talking to me because.
All right. Okay.
No,
Brian, I've got to go. Okay.
All right.
Sorry. Okay.
All right. Nice one. See you, mate. Bye. I got enough out of him. He don't know what to say.
No.
So there you can hear my conversation with Greg Miskill, the news editor, that called on this job with Kellaway. And you hear me say to him that Kellaway was not far away from Natasha, my ex-wife. Well, she was staying in Surrey at that time, and you've heard me talk about where she was staying is only 7 miles away from the Dallers. I just come out with it. Do I suspect that her mum and dad know the Dallers? I believe so. I know that my ex-wife's father is a Freemason, and he will definitely be going to that Surrey lodge. And so will people like Bob Dahler. So, and half of the intelligence agency. Surrey. Yeah? Where Millie Dahler comes from. Or did. So, there's Greg Miskill, the news editor of The Time, who sent Robert Kellaway to Chinkford to do this job on me, along with Conrad Brown. Now, Conrad Brown is the fake Shakes partner. Even Greg himself said, I wouldn't be surprised if Maz was there and Conrad was there. Well, Conrad was there because Greg sent him now. And the fact that he was even umming and ahhing about that when it's on paper shows you that they're still cagey about Mazza being involved. Now, what happened with Mazza, the fake sheikh, the year prior to this, 2001? He does Jonathan King. King ran VIP perverts, sex VIP club for perverts. Story done in the News of the World by Ben Proctor and Mazza Mahmood. Now, Ben Proctor has worked with Christine Joanna Hart, you know, Daniela's mate, and also played Mazza's wife from time to time on various sting operations. So when Christine Joanna Hart was ringing me, and she's the first one to bring up the Red Rooms, by the way, and that was all planned, because I didn't really want to talk about it. I wasn't going to go there, but she's forced my hand into it, really, to be quite honest with you. And that's no coincidence that she's played Mazza's wife, the fake sheikh's wife, and is very acquainted with all that News of the World lot. She's one of them. So getting back to Mazza, he done Jonathan King in 2001. In 2002 now, early on in the year as well, March, April, he's in Surrey with Kellaway and Conrad Brown. Now, Conrad's on record as being there. Kellaway's on record as being there, but Mazza's not. But we know Mazza and Conrad come as one. Always have done. They're a package deal, them two. So, why keep Mazza's name out of it? Well, like I said, in 2001, he's just done Jonathan King, and Jonathan King has also got ties to Surrey, where Millie comes from. Literally just down the road, by the way. The Walton Hop. I won't go into it now, but if you Google Jonathan King and the Walton Hop, that's Walton on Thames, you'll hear all about their little escapades that have been going on for years. Also living in the area, you've got Max Clifford, or did. And also you've got Duncroft School down the road, girls' school, where Savile used to go. So Surrey is a major hotspot. And then you've got a major Masonic lodge there, and half of the intelligence agency go to it. You know, it's true. It's true. So with my ex-wife's dad being a Freemason, you think it wasn't him behind getting me put in prison illegally for his Freemason mates, intelligence mates at the lodge. So anyway, my point is this, on this bit of recorded telephone conversation here between Kellaway, Robert Kellaway, who said he knew nothing about phone hacking, if you remember, as tweeted by Peter Dukes, who was working with Hacked Off and live tweeting the whole hacking trial. All right, so, and that was in 2013, and that was the same time I got Kellaway's statement from the T-boy at Mallet Solicitors, which is when the shit hit the fan, and that was 17th of September 2013. Yeah, so, you know, Mallet had strung me along since the 24th of April 2012 till then, and then I just had enough. And I rung Mallet's, and the T-boy sent me Kellaway's statement. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't remember Conrad's name, and I said, dude, I tricked him, really. I said, do me a favour, can you just look on Robert Kellaway's police witness statement? He didn't know I was going to ring. He hadn't been instructed nothing. If Brian Harvey rings, he hadn't been told nothing, this bloke. So he only went and found it and told me, was it Conrad Brown? I went, yes. I went, send me that document. He sent it to me. I'll show you the email in a minute. And I fucking forwarded it to Bill Maloney. Bill Maloney's gone back, told Ian Puddick. Ian Puddick's gone back and told Rupert Murdoch and Neil Wallace. That's what the tweet up there to Neil Wallace was about, between Ian Puddick. Like, they're showing me all the way along, look, we'll know each other, you can't do nothing about it. But it's fucked them all now. It really has. And this conversation that I've got here in front of me, this is Robert Kellaway and my ex-wife Natasha after the News of the World have just set me up. Right, so they want to set me up because they know that Natasha only has to go and make a complaint, and I'm going to go to prison. So this is Robert Kellaway. This is halfway in the conversation. I've got the rest of it, but this is, you'll see why I've just got snapshots, because they cut straight to the chase of where you don't need to see all the rest. I'm cutting straight to the chase. The rest of it will all come out in court. Right. So Kellaway says, I'm not far away. I wouldn't mind coming to see you, actually. Now, bearing in mind, Natasha is now in Surrey, 7 miles away from the Dowlers, right? And Kellaway's there because he says, I'm not far away. I wouldn't mind coming to see you, actually, just to, I don't know whether you'd have any official reaction or anything, or whether you'd give us a photograph. Natasha talks to someone in the background. Sorry, I'm just telling my parents at the moment. So how do you know that he's trying to set me up? Right, check this out. This is Kellaway. It's a long story. But basically, we've been undercover and he's been asking us to do it to you. So what are you saying there? What exactly is Kellaway saying there? Are you admitting that Kamal's part of your team? Kamal Zorba? Because that's what it looks like. It's a long story, says Robert Kellaway. But basically, we've been undercover and he's been asking us to do it to you. Well, I've never met Robert Kellaway in my life. I've never spoke to him, so I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. I can only assume that Kamal Zorba was part of their team and they sent him in to get close to Natasha, my ex, which he did. Got the cocaine out and everything, and we've got witness statements to prove that from people that were there. And this had been going on. This wasn't just a random thing. This had been going on in 1999. When I find out about this in Faden Boys, in the barn conversion, that Sunday afternoon from Reese, that's 2002, in April. So he's been seeing her for 3 years. So how can he be some hired hitman? You forgot the most important bit here, that he's not a hitman, he's an ex-boyfriend that she was having an affair with while she was married to me. For, looks like, been going backwards and forwards to my house for 3 years. It's a long story, says Robert Kellaway, but basically we've been undercover and he's been asking us to do it to you. That's evil, says Natasha Harvey. I know it's evil. That's exactly what I thought it was. But he's thinking we're going to do it for him, and all the time we're, well, to be honest, we're tape recording him and we're going to the police with it. Says something inaudible, appears to be upset. Of course she would be. She agrees to see Robert Kellaway. That's exactly what he wanted. She calls Brian Harvey an evil bastard. Natasha, what he's tried to do is absolutely evil. He's given us the drugs, he's given us money. Yeah, where's your drugs, mate? Where's your drugs? Where's your drugs? Seriously, where's your drugs? Robert Kellaway and Natasha Harvey talk over each other. He didn't know we were the news of the world. Right. Okay then. So, he didn't know we were the news of the world. And Richard Mallett's working for the news of the world, my solicitor. Nice. Working for Duncan Larkham. And Kellaway leaves me this message. Funny how this isn't on the Molecare notes, isn't it, really? It's funny that. Check this out. This is what Kellaway says to me. Call what appears to be Brian Harvey's answer phone. Leaving a message. Robert Kellaway says, I gather you're trying to get in touch with me. On apparently Brian. You're more than welcome to give me a buzz. Then leaves his number. That's Robert Kellaway. But he knows nothing about hacking. Or Millie Dowler's voicemails being accessed. Do you believe him? So I went to the Solicitors Regulation Authority about Mallet. (21st of September 2017). This is 2 months before Ian Puddick has my computers taken. And that is no coincidence, considering that Richard Mallet comes up in Andrew Ash's list. And remember, Puddick spoke to him for 2 hours before I come along. So, dear Mr. Harvey, this is from Solicitors Regulation Authority. Dear Mr. Harvey, your report about Mr. Mallet, Richard Mallet, and Mr. Lewis, that's Mark Lewis, Millie Dallas, the Dallas family solicitor. All these people are corrupt as fuck. Thank you for contacting the SRA with your concerns. Your report was passed on to one of our regulatory supervisors who has reviewed all the information you provided and all the other information we hold about Mr. Mallet and Mr. Lewis. I thought, what? When I read that? We are writing to let you know that we will not be taking any further action in relation to your specific concerns. The reason we're not taking any specific action is that there is already an ongoing investigation into Mr. Mallet's conduct. We have also received other reports about Mr. Lewis' conduct, which are currently being considered. Did anything happen to Mr. Lewis, Mr. Mark Lewis? We know something happened to Richard Mallet. The SRA does not act on behalf of individuals, nor does it investigate every report we receive as an individual complaint. Because we are not, in the normal sense of the words, a complaints handling organisation. Well, how can you regulate if you're not getting complaints from people? The role of the SRA is to regulate in the public interest, and you can only do that through getting complaints and regulating. Anyway, the additional information to us which will be retained on file. So, Solicitors Regulation Authority, contacted them, right, got a reference number. 21st of September 2017 they come back to me. So now, let's just go back over here. Richard Mallet. Solicitors banned from being directors after clients lose £1.8 million. Right, we're going to go into that story. It's either his missus or she looks a bit like him. I think it's a sister. It's got to be a sister. It's got to be his sister, Sharon Mallet. I think it's his sister. So don't say his wife in here anywhere. So I reckon it's his sister. So there's Mallet. And then look, if we look on the Solicitors Regulation Authority website, Richard Mallet, solicitor, control of practice, took control of it 17th of August 2020. Date of prosecution, 12th of October 2017. So they did do something, but it's a bit strange that they said that, you know, they're just going to retain the other information. We're not doing anything because we already got an ongoing case. But surely you want as much information of the information of this geezer's corruption at that time, wouldn't you? But what I'm saying is somehow Puddick knew about all of this, right? Because look at the timing of this. Calls for Puddick to be arrested. Let's go to videos, yeah. Right. And here's where Puddick goes on Sean Atwoods and lies about the Ninja recorder that he bought me. I'll show you why he's lying in a minute. Right, now, 24th of November, this is in the... I was arrested on the 22nd of November. And these so-called police came in my house and arrested me, took my computers for over a year. They had guns on and everything. And then you hear the police officer tell the other geezer, shh, seize the computers. Now, if I played that in court, they're finished. Right, why you take the computers? Because they weren't supposed to take the computers. They said if the alleged offence is online, they've got it, they don't need to take the computers. You know what I mean? Because it's all about, if they think you're guilty, you're saying, if they've got that evidence, they don't need to take your computers. You know what I mean? Unless you're looking for something else or you want to stitch me up. And if I didn't have clones of my hard drives, I would have got obliterated because I couldn't have proved what was on them computers and they could have done whatever they wanted to them. So let me just come back over here. There's the Ninja receipt. There's the receipt for the Ninja that Puddick bought me. There it is. Right, went to his address there. Right, Leak Buster's address. Pim's Muse. This is the story that what he bought me the Ninja recorder for. This, and you see how vague he is about what the Ninja was for on Sean Atwood's. I'll remind you again in a minute. We'll play a bit of it. Here we go. It's not all right. E17 star Brian Harvey arrested over claims he sent malicious tweets. Right. Is Ian Puddick saying, I've interviewed one of the witnesses. He gave graphic details of repeated rapes. He gave police Operation Fernbridge, which is fake, doesn't exist, 70 hours of interview. Right, so this is Puddick bigging up Andrew to start with to make him look credible. But you got to remember, Andrew Ash is accusing Prince Andrew, Prince Charles and all sorts of people, right? Puddick funded that. And he did. And he works for the Queen. So what's going on? I've interviewed Andrew Ash. He has interviewed him. He has interviewed him. We know he's interviewed him. Now look. So you've interviewed by your own account. How did you find the witness described in the press as Andrew Ash? Yes, I did, for 2 hours. Right? So Prince Harry, if you're watching, just on a quick one, this is your barrister. And he knows Richard Mallett. And he knows that Richard Mallett filed my claim fraudulently. Turned out to be a fraudster. This man hasn't rung me. I had this man in my living room. David Sherborne came into my fucking living room. He came in here, right, and there was me and Natasha, and he said, we were supposed to be getting put through together because we was married at the time. What's mine's yours and yours is mine type thing, yeah? Same with the information we're allowed to see as well. Right to family and private life, I'm supposed to see the notes that she got paid on. Right, but they've redacted them afterwards because they don't want me seeing them. So they come up with this plan. David Sherborne, him now, will come up with this plan. Well, we'll put you through separately. He's part of it. And Prince Harry, please listen to me, mate. Please listen to me. Look at what I'm showing you here. It's overwhelming. Overwhelming. No one can argue it. Overwhelming. Right, now, Harry, I've said a lot of things about your family now. Right, and I mean no disrespect to you, right? No one likes them. I don't even think you like them, deep down. And you've gone off and tried them out of life for yourself, and you are having the boot put into you like how I was having the boot put into me. I don't give a fuck whether you're royal or I'm not royal. It doesn't matter. You're getting the same treatment that I've had, except you can do something about it. I've had to sit here for 10 years trying to protect my life with all of these fucking snakes and weasels setting me up. Yeah, look at that picture there, Harry, if you can see it. Look at the top right there. That was my best mate. That's me and him on holiday when we was younger in Yarmouth. He's dead now. He's dead now because of these people. Sherborne knows about Reese. Because he must do, because Reese is another person who was phone tapped during this with me in 2002. Right? Now he's dead. The only other person that can prove phone tapping. Actual phone tapping. Everyone else has gone on about phone hacking. Right? You're the first person to come along now and talk about tapping. Now you just heard the news editor. He would have been behind some of your stories, Greg Miskill. Where's he now? He's dead after that admission. Harry, he's dead. He fucked up. Now he's dead. He can't give no more. He's fucked up. They have all fucked up. Please listen to me. Please listen to me and please watch this video. Right? I'm not going to put you wrong. I promise you. I'm not going to put you wrong. I know I've said things about the family. I'm sorry, I don't like them. But I do like you. And I think most of the UK public do as well. Don't listen to the shit that they're putting on the news, because everyone's sitting there going, what's the problem? Harry's normal. He sits there, he does interviews. Like, you're yourself. And you carry on being yourself as well. Don't worry about what they say about your girlfriend and all that. These people are just jealous, mate. Yeah, don't think they wouldn't swap their life with you in a fucking heartbeat, because they fucking would. You know, I don't see what the problem is. You know, you're allowed to speak out. You're someone as well. You're not like them. You're not like them. You never have been. You're different. You're normal. You're approachable. You know? And and you remind me of my brother a little bit. Yeah, I can help here, mate, honestly. And David Sherborne ain't to be trusted. Now, I know he's a big, important person. He's just, but you see him coming out to court with all of them. The McCanns, Johnny Depp, everyone. He's right at the forefront of it. And this man thought that the pitch that Malik was putting to me was acceptable. And they made my claim so that I could get no more than 50 grand. Well, that's bullshit, because I see your story's going into 200 grand. And then we got Heather Mills getting paid 40 mil? For what? Because Paul McCartney sung down the phone and the News of the World heard it when they'd had a row? Fuck off. No way. But what I am saying to you, Harry, is if you want the ultimate backup on this, the judge in my case in 2003 said I leave the court without a stain on my character. He instructed the Crown Prosecution Service to do a root and branch investigation. They didn't do it. Malik was supposed to sue the News of the World for me. He didn't do it. He started working for him from that point. The whole thing is corrupt. But had they have done that root and branch investigation in 2003, guess what, Harry? You would never have been phone tapped. And neither would your family, and neither would anyone else from that point, had they have done their jobs properly. Now, if we want this to come to an end, and we want to put the media in their place, right, the only way we can do it is to show the truth. And we have the truth here. I've got it in front of me. You've got it now. It's on video. You've got it. It's there. Rip this video and share it everywhere. These people are not going to get away with it. They're not getting away with it. They haven't got away with it. They have not got away with it. And phone hacking keeps creeping back and creeping back. David Cameron promised us Leveson 2. Where is it? Where is the corporate criminal side of it? Because all we're seeing is people suing them and then paying out, and then you can never come back on it. Whether you find out what they've done to you later on is criminal or not. And worse than what you thought. You can't come back no more. Guess what? I can. There's no limitation on criminal. And what I've got here is absolutely criminal. And it also shows the network of people that are involved in it. For example, look at the picture on the screen. Underneath is a screenshot of Peter Jukes. Worked for Hacked Off. Live tweeted the whole hacking trial. Was even there when Kellaway took the stand. And Kellaway confirms he knew nothing of phone hacking, which is a lie, and you've seen evidence yourself, or Millie Dowler's voicemails being accessed. Because it was Kellaway's story that allegedly brought down this newspaper. Right? And this was the reason for the collapse of the News of the World. Except, on the day that they mentioned the News of the World being closed down over this so-called scandal, they've already set up the Sun on Sunday. So they knew they was going to do that. It weren't no surprise takedown. And also, they needed a reason to close that newspaper down. Because of the collusion between the police and News of the World journalists. Like that. If I'm not right, what's that? Harry. Phone tapping. That's Reese, who's now dead, and Kamal Zulba, who they alleged that I hired as a fucking hitman. Our hate-filled tapes prove him wrong. Where's your tapes now, News of the World? Yeah? Where's your tapes now? Let's have a listen to your tapes now. Yeah, the full unedited tapes now. Yeah? You ain't coming with them because you can't. You're stuck. You can't come with nothing because you can't show that you phone tapped. But it's already admitted. It's already admitted. And you've printed and published stuff that we ain't got transcripts for. Would you make stuff up? Kellaway? Because you transcribed them and then you send them to DS Werrett. Well, let's have a look at DS Werrett, shall we? Here he is, Simon Werrett, as he is today. And what's he up to now? He's doing a John Wedger. Simon Werrett at Simon Digitally. Leadership Team Coffee Shop Sunday. Studying digital theology. Views expressed are mine. And when he joined in 2013, it didn't look like this. Simon Digitally. This is the ex-Serious Crime Directorate for Essex Police. This is how he's hiding now. Pretending to be a Christian and wants to digitally, virtually baptise you by VR. And that's not weird. That's not weird, is it? Look, this ain't weird, is it? He's hanging about in Southend now. He calls himself Reverend Eastwood Evan. And I'll show you some proof of that. I'd love to. Yeah, I'd love to. I'm going to show you some proof. And you tell me that all this ain't weird. Give me 1 second, because there's a lot of documents in there, a lot of things. You're telling me that Digital Simon now is this bloke, and that's not weird. Great to be in Birmingham in the snow, attending their postgraduate open day. What the fuck? What the fuck? What, mate? Simon Werrett. Simon Werrett. And what the fuck, man? Seriously, mate. Chris Ball and Conrad Brown waited in a van outside the address. Conrad Brown had given Kamal recording equipment to use when he spoke to Brian Harvey. Just on a little side note there, Conrad Brown. You know, I know Greg Miskill can't remember if he's there or not, but I'm telling you, he does. He does know. Here we go. As it was he didn't ring me before they arrived. This is Kamal Zulba. This is Kamal Zulba's part of his statement, right? As it was he didn't ring me before they arrived. He's saying that I'm supposed to ring him, right? Zulba. Me ring him, right? Right, check it. They were Robert Kellaway, Stian Alexander and Conrad Brown. And later on, before Brian arrived, a photographer, Chris. This day was Friday, the 26th of April, 2002. They arrived at about 2 p.m. on that day at my home address. I told them what Brian was asking me to do, as I've already said in this statement. See, the fact that he's even gone there, I told them what Brian was asking me to do, as I've already said in this statement. They want to move on from it. They then bought out some recording equipment, and we discussed the best thing to sue. I think that was meant to say the best thing to pursue. So they've discussed it. What's the best way to entrap him here? They gave me a wallet with a tape recorder in it, in which they told me I had to aim it at Brian so that it would pick up what he was saying. They outlined questions that I needed to ask so that he told me again what he wanted me to do. This is this fucking geezer's idea. Honestly, right? They outlined questions that I needed to ask. This is all a setup. Now, as I showed you earlier, Kamal Zorba, yeah, according to Kellaway in his conversation with my ex-wife, all the while I'm talking to this guy, we're secretly recording him and going to the police with it. So Zorba's part of your team. You're saying, you're admitting in your own words that he's part of your team. They had to be open questions. The news of the world were going to tape every conversation that I had. They were also going to tape any telephone conversations, and that they had a gadget to do this. As Brian hadn't rang me, I then rang his mobile. This conversation was taped. I got Brian's voicemail and I left a message for him to ring me. Well, why ain't that on your Glenn Mulcair notes? If that's the listening to voicemail messages. It's funny that Robert Kellaway's message ain't on the notes. Kamal Zorba's not on the notes. Funny that, isn't it? Half blanked out mobile number that is on Richard Mallett's paperwork from 2003. Scotland Yard are liaising with him. What? And you ain't got the number? And this ain't police corruption. This ain't like perverting the course of justice, nah? And Simon Wear It Digitally Simon. This bloke. This ain't weird, nah? This ain't him hiding. Well, I think it's a bit weird myself. Puddick. Daniel Gleave, the copper that came round here to my house. Still waiting for this man's arrest. Brian. 5th of October 2018. So, proof Puddick told Bill about the section tweet to Daniel Gleave at Met Police. Here is... so, when I still sue Puddick, which I'm going to for the section tweet, they're going to say, oh, you're out of time this year. No, the police negligence. If you have a look at the terms, negligence will be the only thing, right, that you have to prove, and then you can still sue them when you're out of time. Negligence. And if this ain't negligence, right, if this ain't negligence... Daniel Gleave 2 at metpolice.co.uk regarding Brian RVE and Puddick. To Brian, I apologise for not getting back to you. I haven't forgotten about your counter-allegation at all. Once you've spoken to your solicitor, let me know when you're available. Kind regards, Dan. I'll be speaking with my lawyer tomorrow about doing a formal statement with the police with regards to Ian Puddick's harassment. And on the bottom of this, I'll start showing you, this is the second part of the section tweet. So he goes, Brian Harvey sectioned. And Trudy said, no, he hasn't. And Puddick's put, are you sure? Yeah. So he's already done the section tweet. He's already done it. That's the follow-up to it. All right. And then that got screenshotted. And that's fucked him. All right. But what I want to play you is... Oh, look, here we go. Stella Creasy, what's this? 19th of October 2019. Is this not a repeat? I've got many of these. Have you managed to find out why they're doing this again? The benefits. This is a joke. If I have to go to that place, I'm kicking off. Sorry, I'm not having this. It will go off. All right? That's what I told Stella Creasy. 29, and it keeps happening. So, you know, how many times... It's a joke. It's a fucking joke. National disgrace. Brian Harvey exploits Millie Dowler's memory for cash. What cash? Justice for Ian Puddick. And he's happy to let these videos go up because it's putting the boot into me. But if he was actually a good person, you'd look at all this evidence and you'd see that I've got everyone banged to rights. So why are you putting the boot into me when I'm trying to do the right thing? Brian Harvey shilling his child abuse merchandise to epidemic proportions. Justice for Ian Puddick. Right? These are the sort of things I've put up with. Right, there's the Andrew Ash interview there. There's James Fielding from the Express. Look, oh, did we catch his face? Sorry about that. Really sorry about that. That's James Fielding there. He also done the Baby P story with John Wedger on it. Do you believe that one as well? Because this one's fake. So why would that one not be fake? But they're both still up in the newspaper for you to read as genuine stories. Good that, isn't it? And the Express newspaper here, James Fielding, guess who else was working there at this exact time? Robert Kellaway. Think he knew I was there? Of course he does. And if you take a look on the table there, you can see Bill's camcorder, can't you? See it? Oh yeah. Can you see a Ninja recorder on it anywhere? No, I didn't think so. Because you don't put a Ninja recorder on a camcorder, so therefore Ian Puddick knew he wasn't buying it for Bill. It was for me to film this clown here and get as much babble out of him as possible so I can go and get myself into serious trouble. And that will help Rupert Murdoch massively, who Ian Puddick knows, and also Neil Wallace, who Ian Puddick knows, and everyone else he knows. Probably knows this geezer here. Bill Maloney said, we've been speaking to a barrister. It'd be this geezer. And look who he represents. Yeah? This is who Prince Harry, this is who your barrister represents, mate. You do not want this bloke. You know, as soon as there's a big name, they whack him in there straight away. Hugh Grant, Johnny Depp, McCann's, he's in there all over it. Ah, here we go, Simon Werrett. This is an old one though. Yeah, this is an old one. Like he wouldn't like the fact that I've got this. Simon Werrett at Reverend Eastwood Evan. Leader, Eastwood Evan Church, Chair, Southend, Street Pastor. Studying digital theology. Views expressed to mine. Follow church, Facebook. Yeah, October 2013. Here he is, look. Reverend Eastwood Evan. Told ya. It's hard to believe, isn't it, that this reverend, this Christian man, is this same bloke here now, and the same bloke on my evidence. It's mad, isn't it? How mad is that? Look, because then when you go through here, former detective forges ahead with digital church. I notice that's coming up the top there. Look, it's a lovely cover for him, isn't it? Look, I'll tell you, here's who he says he was. 4 arrested on suspicion of murder over Essex stabbing. DCI Simon Werrett of the Kent and Essex Serious Crime Directorate. DCI Simon Werrett. Kent and Essex Serious Crime Directorate. He's on a lot of murder cases, isn't he? SIO. Right? But now he's that. Does that make any sense to you? Doesn't, does it? It doesn't. It doesn't make any sense. Geezer's hiding. He's hiding. This Christian's going to prison, mate. And they like people like you in there. They love you. They're going to love you. Particulars of claim. There's all the amendments. Claims now been made unlimited. But I don't give a fuck about the money. I'd rather go back over the fact that Richard Mallett filed this claim, put it in for no more than a 50 grand payout after telling me that I was getting millions, tried to frighten me into not telling anyone by saying that, the judge wants to incarcerate me. But then Richard Mallet can get me out of it because of my mental health. And I said, well, does the judge know that he's dealing with someone who's incapacitated and that and can't deal with his own claim? And he goes, well, no, that's how I'm going to get you out of it. So what I'm saying is it's just all fucking dodgy. But that was to frighten me in Mallet in 2014 into getting the case back, because he lost it September 17th, trust me, in 2013. But in 2014, he comes back to me after I filmed all the Andrew Ash stuff and that, sat in my front room and said, the judge wants to incarcerate you, but if you sign this and let me take the case back over, I can get you out of it. What a cunt. Because Mallet's, back in the day, what you've got to understand is this. Now, Mallet Solicitors, 28th of November 2002. Look, blanking out the reference number. Please ask for square black box. Okay? The Chelmsford Crown Court. Dear Sirs, Brian Harvey, abusive process argument. As you were aware, we were to serve our argument by Monday the 2nd of December. Unfortunately, Mr. Harvey's medical condition has been such that it has proved extremely difficult to take instructions in this issue. Mr. Harvey is currently on medication and has a further appointment to see his doctor early next week. In the circumstance, therefore, we should be grateful if the deadline in which we have to serve our argument be extended for a period of 2 weeks to the 16th of December 2002. My granddad's birthday. Abuse of process argument. Mallet. Right? Now, let's have a look at what an abusive process is. That's what we need to do. What they define it as. Oh, there's Paddock, section tweet. Dan Gleave, on the email to Dan Gleave, that's the copper that came round here and believed me, and I'm going to play you the lawyer who was representing me on that. I'm going to play you a clip of what he said about Dan Gleave and him believing what I told him about Paddock and the whole situation. I'll play it for you in a minute. But what I want to do is have a quick look. See, look, Harry, that's why I took pictures of this geezer years ago. Right, he's up there with Mallet, right? They're dodgy. Now, check this out. Here's the news of the world's drugs, right? Check this out. I know we're jumping about, but it's all part and parcel of the same thing. Right, check this out. Honestly, check this out. Oh, man. Let me make that big up. Right, you check this, right? So, this is from up the top here. From the information supplied to me, I understand the chain of continuity in this case to be as follows. Right, so this must be the forensic laboratory, but the police's one. Right? This Peter Siddle, Forensic Science Service. Right, this ain't Volker Science, so this is the police's one. So, the chain of continuity in this case to be as follows. Kamal Zorba, Stian Alexander, the news of the world. Dr. Jack Chuddy, DC 2430 Childs, DC 982 Richards, then to DC 568 Malta, and then to Peter Siddle Forensic Science Service. Check this out. The circumstances of this case are very unusual in that the suspect item was not recovered by the police, sealed into a numbered bag and taken to a forensic laboratory for analysis. Instead, the wrap of powder was recovered by Mr. Zorba, on the 26th of April 2002 and handed to Mr. Alexander, a News of the World journalist, who then took it to Dr. Chuddy. The suspected drugs did not come into the possession of the police until over a month later. 27th of May 2002. When did they publish the story on me? 5th of May 2002. Brian Harvey coke sting on X. They knew that had stopped me going to America, working with Wyclef and doing bigger things. They knew this. When, according to his statement, DC 2430 Childs collected the rap from Dr. Chuddy. I also noted during my examination that DC 2430 Childs has not signed and dated the drugs bag numbered 03158387 into which he placed the rap. Yeah? Let's carry on. This is that email that I keep bringing up. We keep going over it. This is Puddick's mate, Neil Wallace. Tom Crone is the head of legal of News International PLC, who didn't want to disclose journalistic material, so therefore Mallet filed an abuse of process argument. And there's Andy Coulson, who is guilty of perjury, because this email went to him. And if this email went to him, you was happy going along with pop star Brian Harvey hired a hitman to drug and sexually degrade his own wife, even though the hitman in question that you allege comes from you. Nice. Nice. And here's what Mr. Tom Crone, who's on that email, head of legal for News International PLC. Right. Mallet Solicitors. 18th of December 2002. Dear Sirs, Regina versus Brian Harvey. Further to my conversation with your Mr. Mallet yesterday, I confirm that most media companies, we have a policy of requiring the formality of a court order, witness summons, before disclosing journalistic material, because we are asking for the original unedited tapes. And Tom Crone is basically telling us to fuck off. There he is on the email. He knew about phone tapping. They all fucking knew. So did Rebecca Brooks, formerly known as Rebecca Wade. Mallet knew because he's bringing it up there. Does this amount to phone tapping? Then you got the judge saying, I want a root and branch investigation. Doesn't happen. If they did, all these other people wouldn't have been phone hacked or phone tapped. Both. Word on the street is that the News of the World are worried. They know they set BH up. Does this amount to phone tapping? Rebecca Wade, editor, don't want to be called to court. Very unhappy about the way the case has been handled. But then when I asked Greg Miskill, who told you to do it to me, Greg? Was it Rebecca? Was it Brooks? No. That means yes. you know what I mean? So there's the ninja receipt. There's Scotland Yard with my Glenn Mulcair notes, the evidence from Scotland Yard. Look who they're liaising with. A fraudster, Mallets. And then my things come through. Look at my phone number there, blanked out. Or put a big ring round my name here. So I go, oh yeah, I'm on his notes, but I don't know if that's my note. Yeah, that's my number, mate. You know. And you give me page 58 and 60. There you go, look, 58 and 60. What a fucking joke. Scotland Yard. Don't you remember? I went there and they called the police on me. Even though I was holding this in my hand. It's a joke. This country's a joke. It cannot govern itself, which is why this is going to end up in the International Criminal Court. I'm telling you now. And I'm calling on Prince Harry to help that happen. If you really want to change things in this country and put these people in their place so this shit can never happen again. I mean, because they're still doing it now. Yeah, they're still doing it now. International Criminal Court, we must go. You cannot trust your solicitors because there's proven here they're working for the other side while they're representing you. That is a conflict of interest right there. Right? It is. But none of this stuff works for me, but it works for everyone else. Look, nothing wrong with Brian's mental health, but you got all in 2003. Find a psychologist reporting this matter. Medical conditions stopping him from taking instruction from me. And this was back then. But people, our Palm Medical Centre, here you go. I confirm seeing Mr. Harvey on and off since 5th of February 1997. Right, here's another part of my evidence. It goes in the News of the World. Brian Harvey on the verge of having a mental breakdown. That went in the News of the World on the 9th. Well, not News of the World, could have been the Sun. It was the Sun or the News of the World. And a News International paper, put it that way. He seen me on the 5th of February. How is it in the newspaper that I'm at the doctor's about mental health having a breakdown on the 9th? If they weren't listening to my phone then as well. So they were tapping. Right, there you go. Medical details, says it on the thing. There's the abuse of process argument, and we would just get into... this, look, come on, what's this? This is in their paperwork. Brian Harvey divorce setup. There. I'll have to do a bigger one, but that there says Brian Harvey divorce setup. 15 grand. Look. That was the 15 grand paid to Zorba. James Morgan's okayed it. There's Paddock and Neil Wallace, who's on the email with Andy Coulson and Tom Crone, head of legal. There you go, look. Paddock's just rubbing it in my face through the years. His office toilet door is a phone box. He's shitting on the phone hacking victims, laughing at us. So he got it all under control. There's the ninja that Paddock bought me. You didn't see that sitting on Bill's camera, did you, on the table? No. There's Simon Werrett, and yet another different weight on this alleged cocaine. 0.5 gram now. And check this out, right? You remember in the news article, the judge said, how did I end up in the court in the first place, right? And that it all came from the News of the World, basically, doing a story. Sergeant Werrett. I've just been telephoned by Rob Kellaway of the News of the World. He talks to you a lot, doesn't he? It's a bit about Brian Harvey, or Natasha Harvey, yeah. The News of the World ran a story on Sunday about Brian Harvey and the fact that his estranged wife Natasha has made a recent complaint about him. Right, off of the back of these people stitching me up and lying to her, right? Yeah, complaint about him, presumably to the police, obviously, who else? Specifically about his state of mind. Apparently, Harvey has given someone 0.5 gram of cocaine. Someone? Sergeant Werrett, to Sergeant Werrett, Jonathan Williams, this is my arresting officer. I've just been phoned by Rob Kellaway. So Rob Kellaway's ringing Werrett. He's rung Werrett first and sent him all this fucking illegal phone tapping, right? And then he's rung my arresting officer, Jonathan Williams. 0.5 gram, you know. Wait till I show you the weights on all the rest of it. The News of the World is based in Wapping, although Mr. Kellaway is in London at the minute. They have retained the cash and about 25 minutes of recorded incriminating speech. 25 minutes? Well, so there's now where we know that they're lying, right? Because there's the call that they recorded on the wallet recorder in the car is 25 minutes long. What about all the other private telephone conversations I've got the transcripts for? Where were they? Where do they come from? They come from the micro cassette that Kellaway mentions. I have most of those calls on a micro cassette. I shall forward them, yeah? And also, Conrad Brown gives Kellaway 5 mini discs. Now, if you've got on one tape this 25-minute conversation in the car, what about the phone conversations? Why aren't they mentioned there? See what I'm saying? Yeah, 25 minutes is the phone conversation in the car. Where's all the tapping? You just trying to now rely on stuff said in the car? Half a gram of cocaine. Wait till you see. Oh, mate, wait till you see it. Here's DC Williams. There you go. I told you. The article in the News of the World was published on the 5th of May. I've got transcripts of tape-recorded conversations. Kamal Zorba agrees they're accurate. I bet he does. The News of the World's man agrees they're accurate. So this is the police, again, colluding with the News of the World to entrap me. Right? Yeah. Brian Harvey. I, Brian Harvey, wish to make the following statement. I deny possessing cocaine or supplying cocaine as is alleged. As far as I'm concerned, Kamal Zorba and the News of the World have fabricated the evidence against me and set me up. I have nothing further to add at this stage. Then look what he says. Obviously, this story's been in the paper, and I presume you've read it. Is that correct? No comment. I understand that you're still married to Natasha Harvey, but in the process of getting a divorce. No comment. Oh, so you know I'm married then? So you know that what's hers is mine and mine's hers. So let's have a look at her notes then, her Mulcair notes. Let's have a look then. My right to private and family life. I'm allowed to see them notes. So let's have them. Oh, there's a problem now. Is there? Thought so. Oh, John Wedger. Look, he's only friends with Terry Coldwell from E17. Wow. Hey, imagine that. Look. Can't believe it. There's the legendary Robert Kellaway statement. And I get it sent to me on the 17th. Look who I copy in on it. Fuck's sake. So I just get that Kellaway statement, right? The second I get it, I've gone, Bill, look at this. And I sent it to Bill. What do you think Bill done with it? He forwarded it to Puddick. Puddick forwarded it to Murdoch and Neil Wallace. And then what happens? This is the 17th of September. By January the 1st, 2014, I'm filming Andrew Ash. And Puddick's buying me a Ninja. Right. And I'm going to prove that for you. From DS Werrett, I'm getting to it. I've spoken to Natasha. There has been no direct threats to kill her from Brian Harvey. However, as a result of the article in the News of the World, there is some concern over... Now they go on to talk about my mental health. And Metpo are aware if she is to return to... she has this incident number and will contact the police. To inform them, CID are liaising with the newspaper to establish if any offences have been committed. Oh, are they? Are they? Yeah, okay then. From Werrett, from DS Werrett. Look, there's the same Millie Dowler story that I told you about. Right? Now look, the name's changed. Sarah Arnold. Who's Sarah Arnold, Robert Kellaway? That's the only thing that's changed on the whole page. All of this is the same. Please call us. Like, remember this. Yeah, look, these lot here searching down here. Yeah, borrow 25 grand a month and all that. Now, this is when they showed the article on TV. Not too long ago, actually. You see me pointing it out. Sarah Arnold. And when I show you the same article in a minute, and it is the same article. Oh, by the way, there's... Puddick. I was kind enough to buy him a Ninja, yet he continuously insults both me and Bill for no apparent reason. 19th of the 7th, 2015. There it is. He was kind enough to buy me a Ninja, to film Andrew Ash, to set me up for the News of the World and Tom Watkins and anyone else. Prince Andrew, he works for the... See, the strange thing is this geezer worked for the Queen. So what's he doing buying me a Ninja to film Andrew Ash, who's going to accuse Prince Andrew, for fuck's sake? Right. Telephone conversation between Brian Harvey and Kamal Zorba. Well, this one's 7 minutes and 30 seconds long, but the one in the car's 25 minutes long, and that's what you're referring to, but you don't seem to be referring to these ones, because they're done illegally by phone tapping. The wallet recorder in the car, they can say, yeah, we weren't phone tapping him, he was sat right next to him recording him. Yeah, you can say that. You can say that. But what are you going to say about these ones? And we don't even know if the conversations are right, because we know that Robert Kellaway likes to write in there what he thought he heard. You know, which is why there's stuff published that we ain't got transcripts for. And we never got them in the disclosure pit. We never got them. We got compilations. Yep. We got compilations. I was just checking out if I'm affected by the bedroom tax, because this is what seems to be going on with my benefits at the minute. A non-resident carer or group of carers providing overnight care to the tenant or their partner where this is considered to be required. A non-resident carer or group of carers providing overnight care to a child or non-dependent adult where this is considered to be required. Right, so the top line of that applies to me. Housing benefit size and criteria rules. The extra bedroom is allowed for a non-resident carer providing overnight care to the tenant or their partner where this is considered to be required. Thank you. If being locked in your house and having Rupert Murdoch and Prince Andrew and the police acting corrupt ain't a reason to have someone caring for you while you've got a metal gate on your front of your house because police keep coming around saying you someone wants to kill you, your life's in danger, and then leaving me to it. Yeah, I'd say it's required. Phone tapping. You're all done, mate. Yeah, you're all done. You can lie. You know, he can pretend to be digitally Simon nowadays if he wants to. Simon, wear it there. You know, or Reverend Eastwood Evan, you know, take your fucking pick. He can pretend he don't know nothing and represent Prince Harry. And Prince Harry, you know, you can just disregard everything that I'm saying, but I'm telling you, you ain't getting the truth. I've even met the geezer next to him there to the right. Dominic, what's his name? Dominic Santa. When I met him, I thought he looked like David Cameron. Yeah. That should tell you everything, Harry. Get this geezer away from you, man. No doubt he'd be up your arse because you're royalty and he'd be laughing at your jokes and, you know, telling you everything's going to be all right. We know a song about that, don't we? Yeah, you've danced to it. I know you've danced to it. So don't tell me lies. Andrew Ash. So Ian Puddick bought me the Ninja recorder to film Andrew Ash, who was going to lie about VIP child abuse and rope me into it. And then I would have gone to prison for backing him up with his Prince Andrew allegations if I hadn't have clocked everything that was going on and exposed it. And then I have to put up with this shit. Justice for Ian Puddick. Well, good, I'm glad you've got your name attached to it, and you can say, well, you know, these other people, I can't control them, but listen, you forget, mate, Lan Puddick. Yeah, you forget. National disgrace. I'm a national disgrace because I'm trying to bring some justice to this country and show and embarrass the old bill and embarrass the country for they're not here to help you. They're not here to help you. They don't give a fuck about you. The only way we're going to get these people is to do this and show the truth and show they can't be trusted. They're not fit for purpose. You know, just like Boris Johnson having a party when you're not allowed out to see your family members. Right, they do what they want and we suffer all the penalties that they want to dish out. You know, parking tickets, benefits, whatever. Yeah? Whatever. Oh, talking of benefits, Stella Creasy. How many times I've sent her emails like this have been untold. She must have a book of them by now, and it's happening again, Stella. So they keep fucking about with my benefits, and it needs to stop. Right? It needs to fucking stop. Here we go, look. Again. Yeah? Stella Creasy. Bosh. Have you managed to find out why they're doing this again? This is a joke. I'll have to go to that place and kicking off. Fucking, that's what I'm saying. It's what it does to me, and they know it. And then the newspapers are ready to get you like this. Brian Harvey sparks concerns with worrying video revealing he's not been outside for 5 years. What cunts they are. They don't want to mention why I'm trapped in white. They don't want to mention that. And he has clones. Now, when I said that, I meant clones of my fucking computer hard drives. Yeah? Not clones of me, you fucking knob cunt. But this is what I expect out of you. I expect this. This is what I expect. So, you know, this is what they do to me. This is what they do to someone who tells the truth. How much longer, seriously, do we have to put up with this? Yeah? How much evidence do you need to see and hear? I mean, I ain't stopped. I've been on for how long? How long have I been on here already now? 2.25 hours already, and I haven't stopped. And I could go on all day and all night. All right? I'm showing you what these people have done to me. And you're not going to get a better example either. Rupert Murdoch, John Brockman. Right, do you remember Prince Andrew's Newsnight interview? And that woman says to him, John Brockman said he saw you getting a foot massage off of a young Russian girl at Epstein's. That's John Brockman. And look who else John Brockman knows. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Good, isn't it? I ain't finished with this geezer yet. Nigel Evans and the other one, Barry Legg MP. These were the two politicians that used me, got me sacked over the ecstasy comment. Tony Mortimer says he went down to Parliament, and because he went down there, that stopped me going inside. Did it? I don't think so. I don't think so. Just more threats, innit? Just more threats and more lay it on Brian, you're so bad. All I keep getting is fucking set up. And if you think you're all still justified in talking that shit now, fucking come with it. Fucking come with it. I dare you to challenge my evidence. I fucking dare you. Do it if you think you can. Do it. Do it. Do it, as Paddock says. Yeah, these two are going to get it as well. We'll get to them later. It's already logged what they done to me. All right? We know what they done. We'll come back to that. That's something else later on. Sarah Arnold, Robert Kellaway. What's going on with this article? Why do you keep hiding Robert Kellaway? Sarah Arnold. I told you, didn't I? Look, please call us. Police searching. Borrow 25 grand. Same article. But there's no problem. It's just you, Brian. It's just you. You know, you're just you, aren't you? Yeah. What is abuse of process? Thank you. This is where we need to go now. Okay, so an abuse of process argument was filed by Mallet, and abuse of process has been defined as something so unfair and wrong that the court should not allow a prosecutor to proceed with what is in all other respects a regular proceeding. Both the Crown Courts and Magistrate Courts have a discretion to protect the process of the court from abuse. This includes protecting the accused person from oppression or prejudice. The courts have often emphasised that the power to stay a case for an abusive process is an exceptional power to be exercised sparingly. A case might form an abuse of process where the defendant would not receive a fair trial and or it would be unfair for the defendant to be tried. Abuse of process. Now, let's go back over here. Now we're clear on what that is. Brian Harvey from Mallet Solicitors, 28th of November 2002. Brian Harvey, abuse of process argument. As you are aware, we are to serve our argument by Monday the 2nd of December. My medical condition has been such that it's proved difficult to take instruction. Medical condition. How long ago? 2002. And you seriously want to keep fucking with my benefits? Seriously? Alright. See, really, I shouldn't even need to be on your benefits, really. I should be a multi-millionaire. These people owe me about 40, 50 million quid for destroying my life. I don't even want their money. I want you to go to prison this time. No more payoffs. Harry, don't take the payoff. Join me and let's take these people down. I'm serious. I've never been more serious in my life. How much evidence you got to see here? And then Mallet, can't even trust him. I mean, look how this ends up, right? Seriously. Look how this ends up. The same Richard Mallet, you know, the same Digitally Simon. All these people, everything I'm showing you is right. And they got him out of the way just after the payout, which is right. And it's like, against these people, I mean, Scotland Yard were the ones. Yeah, so we don't need to go there. I've already shown you that. Where was I going? I was jumping about. So Duncan Larkham, Prince Harry, man. Honestly, these people are wrong uns. So unless you've got it controlled and it's all working for you, then obviously, yeah, you know, do what you're doing. But don't show the world it's real if it ain't. Because they got a shitstorm coming soon. And if you're bringing attention to the phone hacking and the tapping, more importantly, I see no point in you doing that unless you mean it. So don't take their payoff, man. Go to trial. Do it, man. I can back you up. I promise you. I can back you up. Look at this. Richard Mallet working for Larkham. It's not on. I got them left, right and centre. This is the bloke that's filed my phone hacking claim, Richard Mallet. This is the bloke who the Solicitors Regulation Authority have struck off. Nah. And Puddick taking my computers on the 22nd of November 2017 was so I didn't see this. Because you got to remember, Mallet comes up in Andrew Ash's list. If that's not through Puddick, I don't know what is. I'll remind you of it.
Simon Cowell.
Yes.
Max Bygraves.
Yes.
David Frost.
No.
Alan Wicker.
Yes.
Richard Mallet.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Ted Heath.
Yes.
Confirmed.
Okay. Yes means Andrew had sex with them. Confirmed means other victims have come forward and has been confirmed by NAPIC.
So knowing that Puddick funded all of this, what I'm filming, bought me the ninja for it, he wants to deny it, but you can't deny it. You've been caught, Puddick. Richard Mallet turning up on Andrew's list whilst Kellaway works at the Express, who's interviewing Andrew, the other interview that I'm filming. Nah, mate, these not coincidences. This is a plan. So if Kellaway's in the background, that means, and Puddick buying me the equipment to do it, it means the Queen's got some interest in on it, and that's for Andrew. They also throw red herrings in there for Tom Watkins, my ex-manager, so they're going to clear him up as well, give me false information. and now Richard Mallett. So when was this interview? This was January 2014, about January the 9th. It was the 8th, or this is the 9th. It's the 9th or the 10th of January 2014. Right, I know it ain't past that because the story goes in on the 14th or the 12th or 14th of January. 12th, I think. Right, so it goes in on the Sunday. We're down there on like the Thursday or something like that. It goes in on the Sunday. So the Express are filming Andrew. They put him in the mainstream media. The Mirror have syndicated the story. They've got it up. They've still got Andrew up as a victim. So if Andrew's still up as a victim and we're believing his story and Richard Mallett has raped him or slept with him, as he says here, then why haven't we heard about it? And more to the point, why isn't Andrew Ash in prison for accusing all of these people? But yet Cole Beach is. It's funny, isn't it? It's funny how it works. But yeah, Richard Mallett, that is my lawyer they're referring to now. Yeah. And so let's look at the timing. What's happened with Richard Mallett, where these lot have thrown him under the bus? Because from 2003 onwards, after beating them with my case, right, he was supposed to do a defamation claim against them, and he didn't. So therefore, he started working for him in 2003. That's why I couldn't find him no more. He probably thought, oh, he got not guilty, go and fuck off now, I work for these lot, they're giving me loads of work. And if you want confirmation of that, then obviously that is where the Duncan Larkham solicitor Richard Mallett, so he's working for News International PLC employees at the same time as me. Now that has got to be wrong because he's filing my claim against them. Except he's filing it against News Group Newspapers Limited. And, you know, I can show you here on the claim that he didn't stay News Group Newspapers Limited once me and my Mackenzie friend went into the court. All right, let me just bring that back. I just hit the wrong button there. So me and my Mackenzie friend go into the court. And, why isn't that going bigger now? I need to make that bigger. I need you to become big. Am I doing this then? Let me go here. And then let me do this. And then you'll see here, claim form, 23rd of the 11th, 12. That's when Mallett put it in. He didn't tell me he'd done it either. So this has changed there to NI Group, right? News International, PLC, right? Not News Group Newspapers Limited. And these are all the amendments that we made. And now we've made the claim unlimited. But David Sherborne had it capped off at 50 grand. So if you think that's acceptable, Harry, then by all means, stay with David Sherborne. But I'm telling you, he's corrupt. And look, this has all been amended. Yeah, here it all is. Phone hacking, right? I'm in the claims. No one's come to me and told me that Richard Mallett is now banned from being a solicitor, right? And he gets done. Prosecution 2017. They had to have been building a case for a couple of years to do this, yeah? So let's say 2015 then. Let's say 2015. 2015. What's the fuck up? Why have they thrown Mallett under the bus? Why are they throwing Mallett under the bus? Because he's fucked up, isn't he? He ain't done the job for him properly. He hasn't got control over my case for the News of the World without problems arising now. And when I got Kellaway's statement from his T-boy, I bet that's when the problem started. Mallett fucked up. He had another attempt in 2014, come back and went, oh, Justice Voss wants to incarcerate you. And I said, well, does he know that you've taken on an incapacitated person, Richard? And he goes, well, no, that's how I'm going to get you out of it. I thought, if I give him back the case. And then, when I give him back the case in 2014, he's representing Duncan Larkham. All right? What's the date? I know it's 2014. Oh, 24. Fucking hell, even worse then. 24th of April, you know. That's when he comes to me the year before that. 24th of April 2012. Exactly a year later. Look, he's working for Larkham. That is wrong. That is wrong. But no one wants to do nothing. It's just Brian. He's mad. You know, his music career's not gone very well and he smoked too much weed. You know, tender notes of him. Tender notes of him. And this is strange as well because in this story, the people making 34 payments to the sergeant. So there's a Sergeant John Hardy and his wife Claire Hardy who Duncan Larkham was making payments to. But Richard Mallett is Duncan Larkham's lawyer. And Richard Mallett had a Hardy working for him in Mallett's Solicitors in Wisbech in 2002. And the prosecutor in the case against me for the CPS, his name was Hardy. Hardy was a colour sergeant based at the Royal Military Training. So, Harry, you want to use a barrister who knows Richard Mallett has colluded with him, who was working with Duncan Larkham while he was representing me, and Duncan Larkham has made payments to Royal Military sergeants, and you're going to use David Sherborne. Seriously? Someone get this video to Harry, man. Someone get this video to Harry. Abuse of process. Abuse of process. Guilty when I got not guilty. Judge claims singer leaves without a stain on his character. News of the World still think they're right though. I just got not guilty, you've just put guilty. And you put me in that fucking place to begin with your setup with Zorba, who works for you by your own admission. Kellaway, who hacked Millie Dahler, tapped Millie Dahler with Comrade Brown and Mazza Mahmood. And you kept Mazza's name out of it because he's just done Jonathan King in 2001. You know, we want to keep this on the down low, this tapping of Millie Dahler. And why would you phone tap a 13-year-old schoolgirl's phone? Because the news editor, who's now dead, has admitted it. Why would you be tapping her phone if you didn't suspect her of being prostituted? I ask you that. And why did you get rid of DC Gibson and put him on traffic duty when he arrested Bob Dahler? Yeah, you're all in on it together. And you expect me to believe the Levi Belfield story? I went down there and took that case apart. There's no way that girl got took that day the way that you said. There's so many holes in that story. And on top of it, you got DCI Colin Sutton on a documentary called Levi is Evil, you know, basically putting his name to Millie being found under Walton Bridge. You're on the same documentary as a so-called friend of Levi Belfield saying Belfield had a flat in Walton Bridge and Millie was taken under Walton Bridge. Maybe she was, because she weren't taken on Station Avenue on that day. And the bird's eye camera just happened to be facing the wall on a rotation, and Millie Dowler's sister's best friend just happened to be at the bus stop but couldn't find the energy in her lungs to reach out and say, Millie, I'm going that way, why don't you come with me? You know, she got on my bus and it was 30 seconds to a minute later. I counted the seconds from the bus stop to Belfield's, 33 seconds. It's got Masons all over it, right? And I'm saying Bob Dowler will be a Mason. And I'm saying my ex-wife's dad was a Mason. And they all go to the same Surrey Lodge, where all the intelligence agents go to as well. So, guilty, I got not guilty. If you think that's right, then ignore what I'm saying. If you think I'm not onto something here and this is not important what I'm showing you, then go and watch Take That Live. Alright? Because what I'm showing you here is serious and it can change our country. And this is what needs to happen. You got people here, Puddick. He's out there like he's a plumber. Right? But he's friends with the ex-defence minister, works for the Queen, but he's a plumber. Nothing wrong. You know. He's beat the police. They brutalised him in custody. But yet, he reckons that counter-terrorism police brutalised him in custody. Someone who his dad used to work for. Yeah, all right, mate. And you work for the Queen. But yet you're a plumber. It's ridiculous. E17 Brian Harvey section under mental health. Now, do I need to say anything else? And at the top there you can see the police have recognised it. They've done nothing, so it's their negligence. So I can still prosecute this guy. Right? Here he is admitting Andrew Ash. Right, come on, you're fucked. You're fucked. David Sherborne, Richard Mallet. Both dodgy. Prince Harry. Oh, I'm going to prove to you. I'm going to prove you some more. I'm going to show you some more. I need to go and have a piss. There's the Andrew Ash front page story done by James Fielding, who done the Baby P story also. Telephone hacking, there you go. There's what I signed for Richard Mallet on the 24th of the 4th, 12. There's Scotland Yard liaising with Mallet's with the Mulcair notes on the phone hacking side of things. Nothing to do with tapping, listening to voicemail messages. Glenn Mulcair notes, 2 pages, page missing, all very suspect, numbers blanked out. Solicitor who contacts me is working for Larkham. This is the second letter that Mallet made me sign before they released the Mulcair notes to me. And now you notice it's not telephone hacking anymore. It's mobile telephone voicemail interception litigation. Yeah, that's changed. There's Robert Kellaway's voice note to me, which doesn't show up on any Mulcair notes, although it's right slap bang in that time. Or Zorbers. Funny that, isn't it? Solicitors Regulation Authority. When was that? That's 2017 also. Just about to convict him, by the looks of things. On that date, there's Mallet, 2002. Palm Medical Centre, 5th of February, 1997. On the 9th, I'm in the paper. So, there's more hacking. Abuse of process, says it all. There's the first claim form without the amendments that me and my litigation friend done. Brian Harvey divorce set up, 15 grand. James Morgan is signing off on it. Neil Wallace, who's on the email with Andy Coulson, and Tom Crone, head of legal at News International, tweeting Ian Puddick in 2015, taking the piss out of me. There's the actual Ninja recorder that was bought for me by Puddick. There's Simon Werrett, Reverend Eastwood Evan, aka Digitally Simon, with his Jonathan Williams, my arresting officer, who knew about. He's got transcripts, remember? I've got transcripts of telephone conversations. Have you? Have you really? At 0.5 gram of cocaine. It's changed. We've got 289 milligrams, 389 milligrams, 0.69, and 0.5 gram now. There's 4 different weights. Okay? DC Williams, there's the arresting officer. Articles published in News of the World on the 5th of May. I've got transcripts. Have you? Tape recorded conversations. I bet you're only going to show the ones in the car. Yeah, with a wallet recorder. But what's on the other 5 mini discs that Conrad Brown, Fake Shake's partner, gives to Kellaway? And the micro cassette tape that Kellaway's got as well. Remember? Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's the infamous Kellaway statement coming straight from Andrew Ferrugia at Mallett's. Robert Kellaway. Put Kamal up in hotels. He received phone calls on his mobile telephone from Reese Morris and Brian Harvey. They had apparently discovered what Kamal had done and made threats to him in the event the story was published in the News of the World. I have a micro cassette with recordings of most of those conversations. Either Kamal or I actually recorded them. I shall transcribe the calls. Kamal was paid in 5 instalments, total of 15 grand. I subsequently took the camera and the cash to Loughton Police Station, 8th of May, to DS Werrett. You know, Digitally Simon, Reverend Eastwood Evan. You know, him. Might as well be John Wedger, mightn't it? Nah, Christian pastor and all that. But the thing is, I subsequently took the camera and cash to Loughton Police Station. Well, why on earth wouldn't you take a wrap of gear? Answer me that. No, you had to go to Dr. Jack Chuddy first and get one. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, well done. Well done. Here's Conrad's statement. And there's a couple of pages to this. I then recorded a series of mobile telephone calls and recorded these on Sony Minidisc. This was a brand new Sony Minidisc which I had unwrapped from the wrapping I bought it in. In one of the phone calls I heard that a man I believed to be Brian Harvey had arranged to come to the address. Short time before he was due to arrive, I started recording on another Sony Minidisc. This was also brand new and I had unwrapped it and wrapped it from the wrapping and brought it in. The recorder was concealed in a leather wallet which Zulba was to carry on his person when meeting with Brian Harvey. But it's not set up at all. None of this is set up at all. And Puddick didn't buy me a ninja. You know, he only says it again here. My role, says Ian Puddick, was to provide £500 for Brian Harvey to buy a ninja recorder for interviews. Yeah? Okay.
The message was, from now on, the only way to bring the power...
Hello, today I'm here with our first citizen activist exposing police corruption.
Is he fuck?
And no friend of Brian Harvey. His name is Ian Puddick.
Brian who?
That's all I hear when that bloke talks. But look, let's check this out.
Their sister company, Guy Carpenter, and the issue was he was coming out of Downing. Daniel Morgan was so there were 4 police corruption.
Right, oh check
mine's
this.
a walk in the park compared to that.
Check this out.
So, I don't know when it was, about a year or so ago, people started saying to me, this guy called Brian Harvey's making videos about you.
Right,
Effing John Wedger.
And I just watched the videos, and this guy just ranting about me.
Yeah.
Effing Sean Atwood, effing John Wedger, effing Ian Puddick, effing...
Bill Maloney.
Who's the other guy who's got it in for?
There's loads. Yeah, Sean, yourself.
Bill something.
Bill Maloney.
Bill Maloney.
Bill Maloney.
Like you don't know him.
Bill Maloney, this effing... Then he started saying that I was working for the New World Order.
Which is true.
And so I thought, all right, who's this guy? I'm going to Google him. I saw that he was in a famous band.
Yeah, huge.
E17?
Yeah, massive.
That's right, don't you forget it, mate. I'm fucking massive, you fucking cunt. I'm fucking much bigger than you.
And he'd run over himself or something.
Yeah.
I fucking run over myself. I was drugged and I nearly passed out. And that's what happened. I went under the fucking car because they drugged me. News of the World fucking drugged me through this girl. who was going out with one of the partners of the True Steppers, and he come round with her, and while I was cooking those jacket potatoes, she put something in my drink, and then when I finished my jacket potatoes and I drunk my drink, it was a little bit of cherry Lambrini. It wasn't much, but enough to disguise the taste of what they put in my drink. After I drunk it, I went to go and get a draw, because I thought, what am I giving up weed for? So I went to go and get a draw, and his girlfriend's at the door crying, trying to stop me from leaving. I'm like, this is fucking weird. Get out of the fucking way of the door, what you doing? But she drugged me, and she was worried now because I was leaving, and I might drive and have a crash, and it'd be her fault if they'd done an autopsy. There you go.
I believe so.
It looks really sad. I thought, having lived with people who suffered, seeing the suffering of people with addiction issues and mental health issues, I thought this is really sad.
It's very sad. Because he's talented. He's really talented.
Yeah.
He's very talented.
But why the hell is he...
If he put his energy into... And I had a conversation with him back in, I think it was end of January this year, or beginning of February. I had a conversation with him because he accuses me of all sorts of nonsense. I said to him that, I believe, because he makes videos about him being hacked by News of the World, and from what he shows, I think he probably was. But unfortunately, the conspiracy to hack him 10 years ago, or whenever it was, by News of the World, now involves the Queen, me, you, and all sorts of nonsense. Whereas if he just concentrated on, maybe if he feels really strongly about that, and he does, and understandably so, do something about that, and just focus on getting that right. Also put some energy into his music. He always talks about his music career, and he's very talented. So do it. Don't talk about it. Do it.
So why did he draw you into his web?
Well, Bill Maloney, from my campaigning days back then, I got introduced to Bill Maloney, and Bill's how can I describe? Marmite figure. You either love him or you hate him. I love him. I think he's great. I won't say anything bad about him. He has very unorthodox methods. He's very direct. He's really passionate.
See, other people, they're passionate. I'm just mad.
And do you know what? If you understand his life and what happened to him in care, and I'm not going to talk about that. Bill wants to talk about that. That's for Bill to talk about. If you look at what happened to him as a young boy in care, I don't bloody blame him. I'll be furious. What's happened to him. So he's really, really passionate about that. Some people don't like it because he's really, he shouts, he screams, he gets passionate. He's a good friend of John Wedger's. So Bill said to me in 2014, would I buy him a Ninja recorder because they were going to do this interview with someone.
He was going to do this interview with someone. My role was to provide £500 for Brian Harvey to buy a Ninja recorder for interviews. Yeah. Say that again. Just that little bit there. Just do that again.
So when Bill said to me in 2014, would I buy him a Ninja recorder because they were going to do this interview with someone. So I went on eBay, bought one.
With someone, Ain't that a bit like when Jonathan Williams emails Simon Werrett and says apparently he's given someone half a gram of coke? They love this someone bit, don't they? Like, just be specific. Who are you talking about? Just do it.
For a couple £100, and I gave it to Bill. Now that Ninja recorder ended up being given to Brian Harvey. So that because of that, I'm involved in the conspiracy. And
hold on a minute. Hold on a fucking minute. Well, what does that say? My role was to provide £500 for Brian Harvey to buy a Ninja recorder for interviews. Yeah, all right, let's carry on.
And he makes videos saying Ian Puddock bought me a Ninja. I've never met him. I've never met Brian Harvey.
And
Bill asked me for I bought it for Bill. Bill's my mate.
What harm did the Ninja cause, Brian?
Gosh, see how quick he tried to rush that in there because he had his story pre-planned, what he's going to say. Look, the giveaway, Ian, I don't know if you realise this or not, it's the fact that you even had to take to the airwaves to get your side across about this. Yeah, if I was lying, you'd just be like, fuck it, he's lying cunt. I know he's a liar. But you're not. You was worried about that because it puts you in the situation of, well, hang on, I've admitted that I work for the Queen, directly for the Queen at Buckingham Palace in communications. And I've also admitted to funding him this ninja. Fuck, how am I going to get out of that? I know. I'm going to say I bought it for Bill and Bill give it to him. But you've seen Bill's camera. Bill's camera is not a camera that takes a ninja recorder. So why would he buy it for Bill? Well, he didn't. He bought it for me. And he keeps trying to, he's took to the airwaves to try and cover his tracks. But I've got this. And the other one. There's another one, isn't there? You seen the other one? Let me just. Very appropriate, that toilet roll. I miss that toilet roll. I need that again. I need that again in my life. What was it again? What was it? What were we getting? Hang on, let me just. My screen's bloody gone off over here. Sorry about that. Let's get that back on. Where are we? We're looking for his. He didn't say I'd been sectioned either. And I'm completely. Well, he's not well, is he? He's not well. It fits with all this. You know what I mean? It fits with. Well, he's not well, is he? But the thing is the only one who doesn't realise that I'm telling the truth. There you go, look. I was kind enough to buy him a ninja. Yet he continuously insults both me and Bill for no apparent reason. No reason? Are you joking? Why you get to go on here and do this to me?
Well, it's a conspiracy. It just involves me in the conspiracy. And then he says they went up and they did this and Puddick funded it all. That's just a lie. He just tells lies.
Well, it's not a lie because you did fund it. And you telling me you didn't give Bill 500 quid either? Yeah, okay, mate.
So I'm involved. So, did Bill ask me to buy him a ninja recorder and did I do it? The answer is yes.
See, he's come up with this little plan like, well, how can I have bought Brian Harvey the ninja and he's used it on Andrew and that's now been exposed and it's all fucked. How can I, because I work for the Queen, I've embarrassed her, haven't I? Oh, God, what am I going to do? I know. Well, yeah, I did, because I bought the ninja. Yeah, I did. I bought it for Bill. But you didn't, because you've put 2 comments out there saying you bought it for me, and you did buy it for me because it was for me to film interviews, remember? For me to go and film interviews of someone. Yeah, like you haven't spoken to Andrew for 2 hours, and you haven't been putting out there, he's now done 70 hours of Operation Fernbridge, he's done 100 hours of Operation Fernbridge, but in our conversation, you say he'd fess up to being the Yorkshire Ripper in 5 minutes, and you could tell. Well, why did you buy me that ninja and send me down there to interview him then with Bill?
And that's it. And then all the rest he just tells lies.
Oh my God, did he just do that? Oh, I've got to say that again. Can I just say that again?
The answer is yes. And that's it. And then all the rest he just tells lies.
Look. Oh, God, Ian. Hey? How the mighty fall. Hey? How the mighty fall. Is that the best you can do? What'd you say to that then? Well, I fucking rest my case there, really. And he says about, he says he was phone tapped. Do you know what? I think he probably was. But before, I was just making it all up for cash, wasn't I? Because I needed drugs, innit, Puddick? Yeah, that's what you said. That's what you said. That is what you said. And you don't pay the carers. You don't pay the bedroom tax if you got a carer. Yeah, you don't. You don't. There it is, Stella Creasy. All right? I don't know what they're fucking playing at over there, but they better fucking pack it in. I'll tell you now. Weren't phone tapped, nah? Yeah. You're all going to regret the day you fucking fucked with me, mate. Yeah? All of ya. All of ya. Fucking all of ya. You are going to regret the day you ever fucking crossed me, mate. All of ya. And I mean all of ya. Fucking Sarah Arnold. DS. Fucking Reverend Eastwood Evan. fucking digitally Simon joke. Abuse of process. Band Model Limited. Here's the E17 band. All right, here we go. I said I'd show you, didn't I? Right, here you go. This is the company that E17 traded through, right? Band Model Limited. There it is. You can see, look at the date it was set up, 1992. Right. Now. Where am I? Where am I? Yeah, I'm not on there, am I? I never was. I was never really in E17. It just seems like everyone fucked me. Everyone. And then I tried to tell the world about it, and I'm the bad one. Well, I'm done with this, being this person for you. All of you now are going to fucking suffer. And you can try and hold it back as much as you want. But I have fucking destroyed you all. And I leave you with that. If I'm lying, and I'm just a druggy, washed up pop star, but the druggy washed up pop star that fucked you. Hello. Bet you wish you never did it now, don't you? Yeah. Take a good, long, hard look at that document. And you tell me what that says about the state of our country. And, yeah. I mean, I could play you more. I can play you more evidence that they all know. I could play you Peter Jukes again, who live tweeted the whole hacking trial, tweeted Kellaway taking the stand. I can play you the recording of him knowing about all of it, saying that he's heard of this Kamal Zulba in a Mazza file. Shall I do it and just finish off with that? Yeah, fuck it. I will. Which I wasn't supposed to get. The T-boy sent it to me. Make sure, if you take notice of anything that I've said today, just make sure that you recognise this part. The judge instructed the Crown Prosecution Service to conduct a root and branch investigation into how the case had come to court. The judge. Crown Prosecution Service. Except they had a Hardy working there, didn't they? So that was never going to happen. And that's probably why Mallet had the power to go and work for the News of the World. Because having someone on the inside was going to be very handy for him. Very hardy for him. See what I did there? Root and branch investigation. Well, there is no limitation on criminal. And there is no limitation on criminal. And this case now needs reopening. A root and branch investigation, like what should have happened in 2003. And had that have happened in 2003, Prince Harry, you wouldn't have been phone tapped. But no one backed me up in 2003. They left me to it. And here we are 20 years later. And here I am with the evidence. And much, much more of it. I'm just showing you the bullet points. There's fucking stacks and stacks of this shit. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Actually, I'm not. Fuck it. No, I'm not. Here it is. I have got it. I knew I had it up here lined up. Right. So, Peter Jukes. This is the guy who tweeted, Kellaway said he knew nothing of phone hacking or Millie Dowler's voicemails being accessed. This geezer was working with Hacked Off. He's heard and seen my evidence. This is what he had to say.
You deserve better compensation for what's happened to you. Just justice, money, whatever it is. I also think here is contained, the first time I've seen it quite clearly, collusion between Mazza and phone hacking. And Mazza was doing bugging. Mazza was doing much worse things than phone hacking. Yeah. Buying drugs, setting people up. And there is a lawyer, if you could trust them, who's dealing with John Alton, for example, his case, trying to get that overturned. Yeah. This is Siobhan. Siobhan, I always call it Siobhan because that's the Scottish way of pronouncing it, Siobhan. Mm-hmm. She's dealing with a lot of cases of people, and quite traumatised people, authors, who've had a terrible time in Mazza's hand. Yeah. Because this fits in that area, I don't think she deals with phone hacking. I certainly think that element of the case, she may be worth talking to you. She's a great woman. She's fought against a lot of police injustice. Have you ever met her? She does she's on the list of, because she's pushed the Mazza thing basically, and because it shows live, a different form of hacking, and shows Conrad Brown. If you've got witness statements to that effect. Oh yeah. I think she's been dealing with it because there's a couple of people who fell out with Mazza. I wonder if Zorba was one of them. But he was the other guy, Kemmer. And a lot of people. Mazza had 2 police cases, investigations.
Did you hear that?
Around.
Let me stop that and go back. Listen to what he said. Couple of people fell out with Mazza. Listen.
And shows Conrad Brown. If you've got witness statements to that effect. I think she's been dealing with it because there's a couple of people who fell out with Mazza. I wonder if Zorba was one of them. But he was the other guy, Kemmer. And a lot of people, Mazza had 2 police cases.
Zorba and Keller. Now, he's talking about Robert Kellaway and Kamal Zorba. Isn't he? That's Peter Jukes from Hacked Off. I'm going to play the whole thing one more time there. Alright? You take this in. Because this is evidence.
You deserve better compensation for what's happened to you. Just justice, money, whatever it is. I also think here is contained, the first time I've seen it quite clearly, collusion between Mazza and phone hacking.
Right. Here is the first time he's seen it quite clearly, collusion between phone hacking and the fake sheikh Mazza Mahmood. How? Because of the Conrad Brown police witness statement I've got of him working with Kellaway, recording me. And where Conrad goes, the fake sheikh goes. And like I told you before, everyone knows it.
And Mazza was doing bugging. Mazza was doing much worse things than phone hacking. Yeah. Buying drugs, setting people up. And there is a lawyer, if you could trust them, who's dealing with John Alton, for example, his case, trying to get that overturned. Yeah. This is Siobhan. Siobhan, I always call it Siobhan because that's the Scottish way of pronouncing it, Siobhan. Mm-hmm. She's dealing with a lot of cases of people, and quite traumatised people, authors, who've had a terrible time in Mazza's hand. Yeah. Because this fits in that area, I don't think she deals with phone hacking. I certainly think that element of the case, she may be worth talking to you. She's a great woman. She's fought against a lot of police injustice. Have you ever met her? She does she's on the list of, because she's pushed the Mazza thing basically, and because it shows live, a different form of hacking, and shows Conrad Brown. If you've got witness statements to that effect. I think she's been dealing with it because there's a couple of people who fell out with Mazza. I wonder if Zorba was one of them. But he was the other guy, Kemmer. Oh. And a lot of people, Mazza had 2 police cases, investigations, Canopus 1 and 2, around about this time, dropped by the senior police officers because they were covering up for me.
Yeah.
Canopus wanted to, and I got the statements, exactly what he'd use. He'd buy direct, he'd fit them up, he'd doctor the phone conversations, he'd get selected bits of video, and then wipe the rest, and then get the police, and the police would take them.
That's
And
what they've done with
it's
mine.
a quasi-prosecution.
They put a compilation in.
And the police would take them. You hear what he said? They would get cocaine, fit people up, doctor the phone tapping conversations, and the police would take them. Wouldn't they, Mr. Werrett? The police would take them. I'll rest my case. You're all finished. You're all finished.
So there's almost a conversation from the police, from Essex Police.
Yeah.
Why on earth did they act on a third party using illegal interception?
And it's funny that DS Werrett never done a witness statement. He's the only one that never done a witness
But you've got
statement.
the emails, you've got the disclosure. I think that's pretty significant because therefore they wrongfully arrested you.
Yep, they wrongfully arrested me. They wrongfully imprisoned me. And then called me guilty. Completely slandered me. Made me unemployable. Enhanced my mental health problems significantly to the extent where I've been locked in my house for 10 years, afraid for my life, being wound up by people that work for the Queen like Ian Puddick and funded and entrapped into scenarios where I will end up being arrested, to discredit me further so that Rupert Murdoch, Prince Andrew and Tom Watkins can all keep their secrets. None of this has been my fault, but I'm the bad one. And I think I'll just let Ian Puddick say a bit more.
Oh my goodness.
But he's not well, is he? He's not well. He's not well.
I wish him all the best. It's sad to see people suffering like that. Yeah. And you've brought along a gift for my parents.
I have. So these are tonics. Is it still filming?
Yeah, he's still filming. We're still watching you, Ian. Look how happy he looks now that fucking gin's come out. Look at him. Look, he looks so happy, doesn't he? Bless him. Look. Look, we still filming? He just tells lies. Not well, is he? No, not thanks to you, mate. And your mates. Now, look what you've all done. I'm so glad I'm the one to catch you all out. You know that? Honestly, look what you've done. And look who you are. Peter Jukes. Galloway confirms he knew nothing of phone hacking, but quite clearly, Mazza. If this don't show you everything is a rigged game, like Neil Wallace, Puddick, he's everywhere. Andy Coulson, guilty of perjury. Zorba came from them, comes out of Mazza's team, but yet I've hired a hitman and I have to be put in the newspaper like this over and over and over again. And then you got people like him making it worse on top. He's reported to the police, and that police officer reported it elsewhere. Nothing was done. Why? He works for the Queen. Everyone can just do what they want with me. This was a time when Ian's on my side because I'm helping Bill. See, look. 31st of October 2014. Starts turning after that. E17 stars Coke Sting on X. Pop star Brian Harvey hired a hitman. Did he? Did he? So don't trust this man, Harry. Do not trust him. And this is what they do to you, look. And Puddick had to take control of this himself. That's right when Mallet gets done. There's a ninja receipt. How have I got that if it ain't for me? There's your story that you made up. James Fielding. You put Mallet in his list. Talk about take it too far. Use a lot of a joke. But considering you know Murdoch, and obviously, here we go, look, Richard's right up in the middle of the telephone hacking, pretending to be my friend while he's working for Duncan Larkham. Scotland Yard are in on it. They ain't come back to me and told me Mallet's been done. You know, nothing. You were happy to liaise with him and blank out my notes. You're corrupt as fuck. And that's why I came to your building shouting and screaming. I made my point. I don't need to come back there. You lot are all pen pushers, fucking idiots, all hiding inside. Scotland Yard. Big fucking Scotland Yard, yeah? Fucking pussy holes, mate, a lot of you. While you let fucking Richard Mallet, who you're sending my paperwork to, represent fucking Duncan Larkham, and you reckon you don't know nothing about it? You people are piss takers. Fucking piss takers, cover-up artists. That's all you are. And you abuse people, and yet we've got to respect you. Fuck you. You've been caught this time. It is over. It is over. Yeah? See that email? That spells the end of you. You can say what you like about me, but you cannot fuck with my evidence. You just can't do it. Kellaway knows nothing about phone hacking or Millie Dallas voicemails being accessed. I have a micro cassette with most recordings of those. Either Kamal or I actually recorded them. Yeah, wicked. Kamal was paid 15 grand. Brilliant. Now I'm going to tell Werrit about it and give him some phone tapping. You're disgusting, mate. I'm so glad it's me that's caught you. Yeah, here's the second half of Conrad Brown's witness statement. It basically says, Greg Miskill rang him to see if he was available to do a job in Chinkford. He told me that Robert Kellaway, who is another journalist on the News of the World, was in charge. I got my recording equipment ready. I've used it on several other jobs. I bet you have, yeah, and I'm confident it was all working correctly. Later that afternoon, I went to the address in Chinkford where I met Robert Kellaway and another journalist, and also met the informant, who I know only as Zorba. Zorba told me that Brian Harvey was trying to pass him, Zorba, cocaine, so that Zorba could get photographs of the mother of his child taking the drugs and discredit her in an upcoming custody hearing. I then recorded a series of mobile telephone calls and recorded these on a Sony Minidisc. This was a brand new Sony Minidisc, which I had unwrapped from the wrapping. I bought it in, and so he did with the other one. All right, there's Conrad Brown. He only works with the fake sheikh. Ian didn't buy me a ninja. He just writes that he did. His role. Someone who works for the Queen had a role in providing me £500 for a ninja. Except he didn't provide me £500. He bought the ninja himself, didn't he? And give it to Bill to give to me. But then he's not quite sure which way to go with it, because he's a bit trapped. You bought it for me and you've admitted it, and that's what's fucked you. They don't trust you no more, Puddick, because you fucked up a lot for them. You're supposed to be a clear-up artist, but you've absolutely fucked up. And now Prince Harry's got this man representing him. Harry, take a look at his picture, and that geezer, get rid of him. Haroon Sadiq from The Guardian. In 2016, come round my house. I noticed he's one of the people writing an article on you, Harry.
There will be a couple of names on there where he's bent the truth, because I now can see that Bill puts him up to things. I believe he's been an abuse victim. I've watched his tapes 100 times over. No one can lie and have learning difficulties like this geezer. He's got a tattoo on his wrist where he was in the boy book, the GB10, where they used to sell kids. So, you know what I mean, it gets deep, but what's happened now is Operation Fambridge's top witness has now said my phone hacking solicitor's name in the list. After I've sent what I've got to Bill.
I've never played you this before.
Bill never wanted to talk about the phone hacking thing. He never said to me, how's the phone hacking thing and that going, Brian? Never. I kept away from it, so I can see why now. And I've got everything admitted on tape. Bill put him up to that, and I thought, well, that's not going to be good for you, Andrew, because if you're letting Bill put you up to things like that, when it comes to the Leon Britton and the Edwina Curry thing, who's going to believe you? And then you go on Panorama and get shot from behind and called fucking David with your voice dubbed over. What are you doing? You know what I mean? So someone got to him. Someone's got to him.
Alan Yentob.
Special branch were coming to get him and taking him to London. I've got the whole. I'll show you some of it. And what I've got is shot. And the thing is, it's been front page of newspapers. You know what I mean? So it is in the public's interest. It really is. And I've been holding this for a couple of years now. And
Right, so that's Haroon Sadiq from The Guardian, in my house. 2016. 2016? 2016. Right, now let me show you Prince Harry. Haroon Sadiq. After Meghan's victory, Harry has phone hackers in his sights. Listen, mate, Haroon Sadiq knows about everything. Yeah, I told him. What's he done? Nothing. He ain't even mentioned it. Fuck you, Haroon, yeah? Fuck you, mate, yeah? You call yourself a fucking journalist. You call yourself a fucking journalist. You're no different to the rest. This is what I'm saying. The whole media, all of it. And I've got many more recordings you haven't even heard yet. All going back this far. I've got so much you haven't heard. I'll keep it for the court. Don't worry. Haroon Sadiq is not to be trusted. David Sherborne is not to be trusted. Right? And if anyone thinks they can argue with that, I suggest you have a look at this video and have a look at my evidence. They are all in on it. All of them. All of them. All of them. All in on it. Don't ever forget that.
It doesn't stop.
Oh, right, okay. So, I've in my say plumbing, in my leak detection office, and I'm really not kidding, we have a mini gin distillery, and it's very
leak detection. And that means people like me. People like me. You need people like me. You put their fucking neck on the line. You need people like me, trust me. Otherwise, these people will do this to you all forever. And you'll never be able to do anything about it. This is the one fucking chance we can put the government in their place, the CPS in their place, even the royals, man. Come on. Come on, Harry, man. Just contact me, yeah? Just contact me. Quickly, so just before I go, I just want to thank all my subscribers. Thank you for your support. Thank you to all the moderators. Big shout out to Adam there, mate. I know you're going through it at the minute, and I plan to give you a bell, innit? You know what I mean? So I know, like, you're talking some mental health stuff and that, and at some point I'm gonna give you a bell and have a little chat with you. Also, I want to say a big thank you to Axiom Curb, as a subscriber, and Amanda Guest, and also Mel Clayson. I hope you're right, Mel. And to DP. You all know what you did, and I thank you very, very much. I meant to do that earlier, but you know what it's like once I get on there. I jump about and I end up forgetting a lot of things, but I do want to thank you, for what you done. Thank you. And I'm just going to leave you on this one last thought, and it's got absolutely nothing to do with any of this. And it's more of a question, really. So it's a bit of a weird one, and I might just have to change the music for this one. What we got here? Let's see if we've got a good old. I think we should end on a lively one. We don't want to leave it all moody. We want it all positive, don't we? We want it positive. I'm just trying to find if it's in here. Yes. So. Is it wrong to say thank you after your girls give you a blowjob? Something to think about for you. You have a lovely morning. Take care. See you soon.
Life is all about sex, money, and murder. Monday, rubber dog.